Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back.
Do it.
That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure,
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here, based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
This is a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup sound experiment. We're looking to find the perfect way to hear Reese's so you'll buy more of them. Here we go. Reese's, 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 Reese's. Hey, get out of here, you little stinker. Reese's.
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 Peanut Butter Cups. That breathy one sounded very creepy, am I right?
This week, we look at the quiet town of Washington Terrace, Utah, where possibly the worst person ever made the world sick with some of the most depraved actions imaginable. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Everybody, welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, you nailed it, Jimmy.
All right.
Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us for more murder and more insanity and craziness this week. We cannot thank you guys enough for everything, your iTunes reviews this week.
That's real.
Thank you. God, was that huge. You guys come through for us every week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Honestly, that's the most amazing thing you could do.
Yep.
On the business end, when you're talking about charts and things like that, you got to go up the charts to get, better everything. It's just how it works. And
for the respect.
Part of that funky algorithm that iTunes has is that those reviews.
Yeah.
So if you could do that, if you haven't done it yet, please get on iTunes, give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say.
Doesn't matter.
It's not for our egos at all. Tell us your middle name. We'll be like, hey, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, really?
From
Cornelius, huh? Okay.
James tells me that he likes me, and then I say, no, you don't. Let's move on.
Yeah, so you do that. It really, really helps us a lot. The 5 stars are what's important on the business end. You can say anything you want. It's not for our our egos. We promise. Also, guys, if you want to do a little bit more, if you're like some of these fantastic people,
There's
like
so many.
our list of awesome producers that we're going to talk about later, you can get on patreon.com /crimeinsports. That's our other podcast, and all that money goes to us. You can make a donation there, or you can make a one-time donation over at PayPal using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com.
That's the one.
That is the one. Those donations, guys, we can't tell you how much we appreciate those donations. Every cent, every penny. People donate $1 and we're blown away by it. We really are. You might think $1 doesn't do anything, but it means the world to us.
Over on PayPal this week, we got something that's an NOK dollar.
Yeah, Korean.
Is that what it is?
It was Korea.
That's a North Korean dollar.
It wasn't North Korean. No. I don't think they're allowed to donate to podcasts in the U.S. on their internet
I don't think
system.
they're allowed to listen to them.
I doubt that Small Town Murder streaming into North Korea. I doubt that.
I hope that Kim Jong-un's listening loud and clear. I really do.
You want him to be a fan?
I do.
That's what Jimmy will be Snapchatting with Kim Jong-un.
Maybe we can
That's
talk
perfect.
him off the ledge with fucking Dennis Rodman. That'd be great.
Possible. I don't know if I want to be a part of that whole scenario. Let's let Rodman handle it, and let's stick to murder on our end over here of non-North Koreans. I don't think we're going to handle any small-town North Korean murders. No, I doubt it.
North Korea itself is a small town.
That's pretty much true.
A small fucked up town.
Just a reminder, we're going to have a little thing to remind you later in the show, but just a reminder too, tickets are on sale for a live show in Chicago. Small Town Murder is the late show that night. Crime and Sports is the early show.
There you go.
Get your tickets over at lh-st.com, lh-st.com, and we'll put a link in the show description and all that if you want to go buy those tickets. But that's really important, and trust me, I'm going to tell you how important it is to the state of the world and comedy. I have a monster of a rant, absolutely locked and loaded for later on. We'll get to murder first, because some people don't give a shit about us or anything that's happening to us. They just want to hear murder, and that's perfectly fine. No problem.
Fine by me.
So you guys can shut it off after the murder, and everything's done there. The rest of you stick around, and I'm going to blow your fucking earphones off. Let me tell you something. It's going to be, whoo-wee, boy, it's a good one.
Is it?
It is a good one. But never mind that. Let's get to that later.
It's the people that stick around for the liquor store robbery. Those are the people that we want.
People.
Right.
Speaking of those people, we do need to do our disclaimer.
Sure.
This is a comedy podcast.
It is.
We're comedians. We're stand-up comics. We're going to make jokes.
We are.
There's jokes. We're going to make fun of small towns because who doesn't live in a small town that needs to be made fun of? We all are all from there. That's just how the world works.
We've all got history with one, and they all suck.
Maybe they all suck. Maybe a bumbling police force, a murderer we'll make fun of, things like that. I promise you guys, we will try our best, and we always try our best, and we never, ever make jokes at the expense of the victims or of the victims' families. We've said it time and time again. We are assholes, but we're not scumbags.
That's the truth.
That's not what we're all about. But everybody else, everybody is still on board. It's not horrible. It's great. We're going to have a good time. It's a lot of fun. We're going to shut up, and we're going to give you murder.
Here we go.
And it's going to be fun. Let's do this. Let's head on a trip, Jimmy.
Okay.
What do you say?
All right.
Let's do this. We're in Iowa last week.
Yeah.
The corn. It was corn season. My hands are sore from shucking.
So much
shucking. You got to try to, get into what the people are doing there. Apparently, people got back to us too. Shucking is a big thing in the summer.
It's popular.
We're going to head out west.
There was another term too that was used in an email, but I don't remember what it was.
Well,
it was
not from Iowa.
Right. It was like detasseling,
something
which
like
doesn't
that.
make it. Well, just say shucking. It's easier.
Yeah,
it's so much
seeds off the top. Whatever.
That's too many fucking syllables.
Let's head out west, Jimmy.
Let's go.
Let's leave Iowa behind. We're leaving it in the dust, and we're heading out west, out to Utah.
Oh
boy,
Mormon country.
Oh yes, Washington Terrace, Utah, as a matter of fact. And I will say right off the top, we do make a distinction.
Yeah.
We're probably going to, there'll be a couple Mormon jokes. It's going to happen. Sorry. It's just going to happen. If we're in the Northeast, there's going to be some Catholic jokes. Down south, there's going to be some Baptist jokes. Well, we're not going to make like, you have 12 wife jokes, 12 wives. We're not going to do that. We understand the difference between LDS and FLDS.
Right.
And we kind of have to explain that a little bit because we have people overseas, a lot of people overseas listening that probably they don't know the difference. I don't know how many Mormons there are in New Zealand is what we're getting at. So there's LDS and there's the fundamentalists.
Here's the difference between
it's a different thing.
The
completely.
Fundamentalists have 12 wives, and the
some
LDS
of them are 12.
Right.
They have 12-year-olds.
Right. And LDS just have 12 fucking children. That's the difference.
They have tons of kids, but it's with one person and they're fine.
FLDS has 12 kids and then they marry
generally
them.
Nice people. Exactly. That's how they marry them off to their friends. Would you like my daughter? She's 13 now. It's horrible.
And we'll
anyway,
all get government checks for it.
We'll get off of FLDS and head to Washington Terrace, Utah.
Fantastic.
Let's let's do this. It's in the north central part of the state.
Yeah.
It's Utah is a big square kind of, and it's got a little cut in at the top where other states are, in there. It's kind of west of that little cut in. It's all the way up at the top, 40 minutes outside of Salt Lake City. So it's if you can get to I guess a major city pretty quickly here. So that's good for jobs and things like that.
So it's just outside of like Provo and
Ogden. It's outside
Ogden.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
outside
just
Ogden.
south of Idaho. It's all right.
Yeah,
I got
it's
you.
between Ogden and Salt Lake City. This
Gotcha.
town kind of
Okay.
sitting out there by itself. It is zip code 84405, area code 385, and they also stuck an 801 in there just in case.
That was nice.
To mix it up a little bit here. You never know.
Just throw some extra
Yeah,
numbers
what the
in.
fuck? Why not? It's a part of it here, part of it there. It's 1.9 square miles, so it's one of those small towns, one of those kind of small and area towns, and everything's not spread out, not a lot of farms or anything like that out here.
No, it's a mountainy town, isn't it?
It's a mountainy town, yeah. Locally known, they call it, well, I don't know how many people call it, but the press says they call it the Terrace.
Oh.
Which is easier than Washington Terrace,
That
which
sounds
makes sense.
gangster as shit.
It does.
That
and
sounds scary.
It's really not scary at all, especially judging by the town's slogan on their website, which is becoming one of my favorite things here, which is, quote, making life better.
Oh,
So-
out there at the Terrace.
Just better. Things are better at the Terrace.
It seems like
Sounds like an ad for a mall. Things are better at the Terrace. Come on, see our new
we
selection
got an
stores.
IKEA.
Yeah, woohoo.
The Terrace.
Our
like,
JCPenney isn't closed yet.
we still have Montgomery Wards. Get down here.
That's
But
amazing.
quick, because it is
It's
closing
glad
soon.
it will be
Yeah.
closed soon,
It's-
but
it's
clearance shit. It's cheap. Get
It's
in here.
always shit neighborhoods. They always take something really that sounds nice. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Cabrini Green sounds beautiful.
Oh, that sounds
but it's
nice.
a shit
LA
area
has
in
tons
fucking
of-
Chicago.
Yeah, LA has tons of things. I remember the White Men Can't Jump movie.
Yeah.
He's like, Vista views. There ain't no
Yeah.
views. There ain't no motherfucking views and Vista. Views and no Vista. There ain't no Vistas to view. That shit always made me laugh.
That's hilarious. That's exactly what it is. It's
It
shit
is.
areas. They name them nice things and confuse the fuck out of good people.
It's not much history in this town.
Yeah.
Out west, there's not. I'm sure there's history as far as the Native Americans
Sure.
go and things like that happened before people were really keeping track of the history. But as far as recorded history here, as far as Europeans settling the area, I guess you want to say, and recording history, didn't start till 1942.
Oh,
here.
Jesus.
So yeah, we go back to the 1700s with some of these towns. Now it's literally a World War II thing.
Hilarious.
Basically they started the Terrace Housing Project. And
See?
that's what it was. Exactly.
That's so scary.
The housing project in 1942, much different.
Yeah.
This was for government workers. It was people who came to the area to work at government installations. They didn't even imagine it being a permanent community. It was like,
Really?
here's a place in the middle of nowhere that we can throw some government buildings up. Perfect, and then we'll leave, and the shit'll deteriorate.
Right.
And they said, no,
we're sticking around.
Oh, no,
Listen,
we're going to make life better,
right
here.
We're
goddammit.
making it better.
Things will be better. I promise you that. I promise you.
Anything's better than a project. So yeah, I mean, they're definitely making it better.
They got federal funds, private investments, and they got they converted these like kind of housing things for workers
Barracks.
into barracks. That's a great way to put it, into single family houses. And once there's some single family houses, there's going to be more.
Oh yeah,
there's going to be more. There's a guy named George Herman Van Leeuwen.
All right,
is his name. It's a tough Leeuwen.
Llewellyn.
Is that Llewellyn?
Yeah.
Jesus, that does not look like Llewellyn. Yeah, I guess it's Llewellyn.
Llewellyn.
Why is there two E's in there?
How
then?
the fuck did I know that?
I have no
I
idea.
didn't even
You
look at
had
it. That
the
was
Llewellyn
That
experience
was a
here.
goddamn miracle. Is what
Not
that
too
was.
shabby. Yeah, if you're nailing names and I'm fucking them up, we got problems, people. This is going to be a long episode. If
And
that's how this is going to work.
That was so quick for me. I was like, that's for sure Llewellyn.
He was the guy who he was kind of the go-between to secure federal funds and grants and things like that. He was like the president of the board of directors of this place. He tried to name the place Llewellyn? he tried to name it Van Llewellynville.
No,
That's what he tried to
what
name
a
it,
dick.
which is the worst fucking name I've ever heard.
Was
for
he
a town.
drunk?
And it was voted down. And
Of
they said,
course.
we're going to go with just the Terrace is far better than what you have. That is terrible, man. It's a weird town, too. Like, so there's a couple of weird things that happen here. Like, for instance, they had a mayoral race years ago that was tied.
Yeah.
The votes were tied.
Uh-oh.
So they had the election. They let the election be decided by a roll of the dice.
How do you do that?
I guess I don't know. You got
You're
sevens,
better
I
off
got
flipping a
fives.
coin. What
Who's
the fuck
got
is
highs,
that?
lows, odds,
Okay,
evens?
yeah.
Odds, evens, maybe?
That's good.
I have no idea, but a roll of the dice is what ended the tie. Not even the die. They used two. It's dice.
There's two.
It's two dice.
Good grief.
And they elected Mark Allen.
Okay.
There, so,
Mark Allen got the high number.
He got the high number or an even. We don't know what exactly happened here.
That's an interesting way to fucking settle a race of any sort.
It really is. I would have been better with, rock, paper, scissors or, guess what number I'm.
Yeah, some Rochambeau for sure, though. That's
pick the straw.
It's too much.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think a coin flip is just way quicker.
That seems easier. Yeah. There's only two people. Let's just do a coin flip. But
that's what they do for who gets the ball in the NFL.
It's the West. We're gambling, baby.
That's right.
But it's Utah, so we're not gambling at all. Utah's a very, very stiff, clean place, we'll say here.
Mormons don't drink booze. They don't drink caffeine. They have all these...
They drink caffeine
now,
I
don't
believe.
Smoke.
I believe they're allowed to drink
you're
caffeine
right. Some
now.
do.
Yeah, I believe. I think they were like, look, we need to be normal.
Yeah.
And if we're going to recruit people, Starbucks is a big place to do it. So we're going to have to get a fucking latte in us. Let's go.
If there's an age limit on it, though, they don't do it. That's like, we don't even bother with age limits. Nobody does any of that shit. The old joke is that if you're going fishing, you always invite two Mormons, not one, because if you only invite one, he'll drink all your booze and smoke all your cigarettes.
I'm sure.
They watch each other.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You go to a bar.
That's the way it works.
You go to a bar in Salt Lake, none of those people know each other.
No.
They've never seen each other.
No, if you live in East Salt Lake, you're going to a bar in West Salt Lake and all. Yeah, exactly. No, that's the thing. They're as full of shit as anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know there are people who aren't, and there's people who are very devout.
They don't listen to this shit.
No, they're not listening to this shit. We do have Mormon listeners, though. That
bananas.
Listen. I just picture, whenever I picture Utah, I just picture a flag with Mitt Romney's head on it. That's Utah. And I know he's from Michigan and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. That's Utah right there in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
In a heartbeat. That's not what I wanted to say. In a nutshell is what I was going for. I was a little ahead of myself in the next thing here. The only thing really going on here historical is it's really not historical at all. Since it's October, I don't know if you guys have noticed the last couple weeks, I've been looking for the haunted sites nearby because it's October and what the fuck, I'm an idiot.
Very nice.
I found the Ben Lamond Suites, which is a shitty looking hotel 4 miles outside of town, is said to be haunted. Apparently there's a ghostly legend surrounding rooms 1101 and 1102. Apparently a new bride on her honeymoon drowned in the bathtub in room 1102. And then her son came to collect her belongings.
Uh-oh.
How old is this lady?
And by the way, that's not very Mormon.
That's what I mean.
You already got kids?
Yeah, he stayed in the next door and then committed suicide in the next door room.
Jesus.
So that's how it works here. So people say the bathtub turns on and it gets steamy in there, and people see shit, and the hotel's elevators work by themselves.
I don't believe it.
All right, we're going to get off on a tangent. It's Halloween. Never mind. Let's get to the people in this town. Population 9,157 people. I guess it's a small town, though, but it's a bigger 1.9 square miles. It's a decent sized town. It's up 11.8% since 1990.
Great.
So people are moving there. Generally, all the Western towns are up since 1990 because that's kind of when the Sun Belt and Western migration happened in this country. People just started moving everywhere. The average commute time here is under 20 minutes.
Really?
19.7 minutes. So
they're working and living there.
I would think people are nice here.
Yeah.
If your commute time's under 20 minutes, you have no reason to be a dick.
No.
You know what I mean? If you're not stuck in traffic for a goddamn hour. It's a younger demographic skewing wise. It's 34.2 is the median age here, which is about 3 years younger than the national average. And that's pretty young for a median age here. Males and females actually a little askew. There's way more females here.
Really?
It's about 55% female, which is it's usually about 50-50, almost 51% female, but a little more females in this town. So you got that going for you. Married population actually not as high as I thought it would be.
Really?
Maybe that's because it's young.
Okay.
Too. You might have
still
that
waiting
because it's about 53%. The average is about 50%.
Okay.
I would expect a Mormon town to be 87%, 112%.
The same level as the Republican population.
It's the once a baby is past the first trimester, I believe they're bequeathed to be married after that. And it's you're going to marry this baby who's also in the womb, and you're going to have 12 little blonde children. Right. They're all going to run around. It's going to be fantastic.
With your magic underwear.
But apparently not. Yeah. Right. That's the only thing I have with the Mormons is the magic underwear.
That's so weird.
It's, you know what? It's weird. Yeah. And at what point in court does someone go, does someone use the defense, I really believe in the Mormon faith truly enough that I didn't expect stabbing him in the heart would do that. I thought we would be protected by his magic underwear.
Yeah.
If you believe that enough, does that make it okay? That's what I mean. I'm going to get on before I offend everybody even more. So, moving on here. Yes, like I said, married population high. Never married is actually a little bit lower, which is weird because the divorce rate is actually higher here. There's actually 17% divorced, which is higher than the national average, which I would not expect.
Yeah.
Maybe it's people that left somewhere, got divorced, and moved out there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking,
or
possibly.
Just not Mormon.
Or they're the part that's not Mormon. It's pretty otherwise pretty normal as far as the kids go. There's a few more kids than normal, as you would obviously imagine here.
Shit, yeah.
The race of the town, shocking, pretty white.
Holy shit, is it
you
white?
would imagine. It's 84.7% white. So that's
not
actually
that high.
not as white as some of the towns. It's still 20% higher than normal.
Samoans and Spanish people, right?
There are 0.22% black people.
Okay.
So there's like 4 black people.
Yeah.
There's a family there, which is good.
Yeah.
They're sticking right out in the snow.
Yeah.
Everybody sees them. There's 0.49% Asian.
Okay.
Younger population. They want diversity of food. That's all I'm thinking. They're like, I want a restaurant right now.
All-inclusive.
All-inclusive, goddammit. And yes, 11.61% Hispanic. That's, you're going to get anywhere out west, you're going to get more Hispanic people.
The Spanish population is migrating to the Mormon religion because they're
recruiting.
Yeah.
That's where they're recruiting.
And they're pulling them in because it's what the Catholic Church used to be. It really embraces a family harmonious lifestyle, and Spanish cultures love that because they have giant families.
Plus,
and that's very common.
Plus, it's pretty much wherever you recruit, you end up getting
That's where
people.
You get them.
They got a good sales pitch. I don't know where they get it from, but there's a sales pitch, and it seems to be working because there's millions of these people.
And
that's fine.
they'll help you get into a house. And
absolutely.
That's very nice.
That's part of the thing, too. Yeah, they'll help you get citizenship if you're part of the church and all that. And if you're in Utah and you're part of the Mormon church, you can pretty much do whatever you want, I believe, at that point. And speaking of religion, normal, it's 50-50 as far as religious people go. And nationally, 78% here are religious.
Wow.
So it is very, very high. That might be the highest number we've gotten so far. There might have been one down south that was was in the ballpark, but that is as high pretty much.
That's fucking outrageous.
That is a lot. 8.65% Catholic.
Yeah.
So, few Catholics. That's fine. They'll East Coast people. They're always going to migrate out west. 62.27% Mormon.
Holy
shit! It is
shit.
Fucking Mormon.
Wow.
That is a lot of Mormon. So it's a lot of Mormon, pretty much. And anything else? We do have 0.05% Jewish. So there's something.
There's 2 people.
It's like a temple, and they're sitting there going, "Someone will show up eventually. We're going to stay.
Somebody will be here.
We're going to stay." I'm saying. I have faith in it. So, there's that, and 0.05% Islam also. So
very nice.
Yes, they move there together, an equal number of them, and they're getting along, and they're setting an example for the Palestinians and the Israelis. Good for them. As far as politics go, 71.43% Republican, as you would expect, about 26% Democrat. Unemployment rate here a little bit lower than normal. Seems like there's there's jobs to be had here. Actually, median household income's a little bit lower though. It's $44,000, which is a little low. $53,000 being the normal or the normal average in the country.
How do you tithe any of that? Jesus,
that's the thing. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's not counted in your income. They cut that right off the top. That's the 10% there right off the top. The jobs here, a lot of more blue collar jobs than I actually would have thought here. There's also engineering, science, computer jobs. Which is what I would expect here, honestly, out west in the mountains. A little more healthcare jobs than normal. A lot of sales jobs. Actually, more production, transportation, material moving jobs than normal also. So it's a lot of industries. There's a lot of industries. Utah is there's a growing type of economy, type of place here. Now, the cost of living in a place like this, we say 100 is average, 100 is par. The cost of living here is 90. Wow. So it's pretty much almost average. Within 10%. Everything's pretty average. Housing, though, is low. On the low end. Housing is a 77 out of 100. Okay. So, that's the attraction. That's not too
cheap
bad.
housing in a nice area of the country.
It's clean. It's
beautiful.
New. It's crisp air. People like that shit. There's something about the West. People like to move out there, especially if you're from the East Coast, because I know for myself, when you go back east, you feel like everything, whether it's buildings or trees or everything, it feels like you're very closed in on all the time. And when you go out west, it feels just feel like, holy shit, look at that sky go for miles.
I got so much room I can stretch out.
Look at big mountain, and the mountains are different. Back east, the mountains are covered in trees, and they just look like big green hills.
Right.
But these mountains are like picturesque, crisp. You know, we live in Arizona. Right. It's the same thing. It's like these rocky
you can
red.
see the ridges and shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. Shadows in the light, and it looks, it's
amazing.
It's picturesque bullshit.
And you put a fucking sun behind that when it's rising or setting.
About it, goddammit.
It's nuts.
It's awesome. So about 36% of the people here are renters. So I think that's the younger population there. Median home cost here is about $142,000.
Not awful.
Which is not awful. $185 is the national average, so that is not bad. Over 50% of the houses are between $100,000 and $150,000.
Terrific.
Which is terrific. Problem is, shitload of foreclosures here.
I can see that,
Shitload. Matter of fact, if we've convinced you to move to Washington Terrace, Utah, we have for you right now the Washington Terrace, Utah Real Estate Report.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Back.
My favorite part.
There we go. Got some music now, goddammit. We're pros over here. So tons of foreclosures, like I said. Just fucking tons. Let's not profit on the misery of others.
Yeah.
We're going to do ours. We already do a 2-hour murder show. Let's chill out. We're going to just do the non-foreclosures here. We're going to do that. First of all, average 2-bedroom apartment's about $790, which is below the national average by about $400. I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,089 square foot house for $80,000.
My God.
It's a little house. It's kind of...
And that's not foreclosed?
It's not foreclosed. Needs some work on the inside. Needs some work. You have to put some countertops in there. There's no, none of this slate shit, no granite.
Some pipes, some ceiling fans.
It's going to need something, especially cosmetically. It needs a little bit of work, but that's okay, because $80,000 you can do it.
Yeah, you got some left in your pocket still.
I found a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,650 square foot house for $175,000. Not bad at all.
That's a deal.
That's a good deal right there. And finally, if you want to step it up a little bit here, I found a 5-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,500 square foot, nice brick house with a yard, $229,900, which is goddamn reasonable.
That's
for
great.
that.
In a place where it snows like a son of a bitch, like your Christmas will be amazing in that house.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
Things to do in Washington Terrace. The only thing that really matters here that I found is the Terrace Days 2017.
What?
I have the whole event schedule here. It's amazing. Friday night, June 9th, they do a movie in the park, which is nice. They go. They were watching The Secret Life of Pets this year.
I almost asked you what
you
was
knew
the
it was
movie.
going to be something like it's going to be Pixar.
It's a child's movie.
There's a community bike ride, a parade at 5 o'clock. Big inflatable toys.
Somebody,
and
by the way, there was a parent that shook their head when the rabbit in that movie shit all over the floor. Did you see that movie?
No.
Okay. Your kids are old enough to where my daughter's young enough. That's her fucking favorite thing ever. And Kevin Hart was the voice of the rabbit. And there's a scary part that he has some fear in him, and he shoots shit out of his ass all over the place.
Nice.
And some Mormon parent was like, "I don't know if we should let our kids watch this."
Yeah, there's poop involved. I don't know how the Mormons feel about poop.
We
know how they feel
poop
about
jokes. Really, this is a family
and
night.
Alcohol, but poop. They might be okay with poop. They might be like, "Poop. That's what we're about."
There you go.
That's
now
good,
I'm
clean
talking.
humor right there. That's some good, clean fun. It's family fun. Everybody poops.
Scat
I have a
jokes.
book that
Let's
says
go.
that. So, we have a dog race, a fucking dog race.
Perfect.
Bring your dog for a fun-filled dog race. I don't want to... can you imagine that? Then they have a show afterwards where a main prize will be given to the dog that looks most like their owner.
What?
This is a small
what
town.
What an insult.
This is small town. They have a car show they're going to judge after that. Then 7:15, buckle up for the annual watermelon derby.
Oh, boy.
That's right. You get it to the top of the hill with your decorated watermelons. Each family gets one watermelon. They decorate it, and they roll that fucker down the hill. That's right. 3 rolls with the toughest watermelon and the best decorated, both winning a prize.
The toughest, so
Like you
the
have
one,
something to do
the
with
one that has the least damage to it as it comes down the hill.
That's it.
Stupid.
They have a band and fireworks.
And by the way, how many
Holy
dogs are
shit.
pregnant after the dog race?
Oh, it's
Jeez.
disgusting. It's just gross. Shooting. Oh, God. Can you imagine
Just
that?
dog slime
Pumping each
everywhere.
other. Mormons yelling at their dogs to stop pumping other
Stop
dogs.
it, Duke.
Stop
Stop
You're not,
it.
Well, we'll get you married if you want to do that, okay? We'll get you married off. It's fine. It's fun. We'll perform the ceremony right now, okay? We need to do this. So, dog marriages take place and dog pregnancies take place, and so that's a great event right there. That
Fantastic.
sounds like something I want to be involved in. And finally, we get to the crime rate here. The thing that we are interested in, crime, property crime, is slightly higher than average. Actually, it's about 10% over average, which I don't know if I'd expect that here. But violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, assault, is about 20% 10% higher than the national average.
Shit.
So, maybe not so nice, short commute or not. Maybe they are dicks still. It doesn't matter because apparently they're still committing violent crimes and everything else. You wouldn't expect it, honestly, but they're doing it. And let's talk about someone who may just end up in that lifestyle here. Let's talk about a guy named John Albert Taylor. Okay, John Albert Taylor is born in 1959. He's born in Ogden, Utah, so he's from this area. Definitely, that's right up the street is Ogden here. His parents are Albert and Gayleen is his mother, which is I've never heard the name Gayleen before. Have you?
I think I've heard the name before.
They just stick any lean on the end of anything. And it's a name. Just anything.
Just add lean to any name, like
keyboard lean. It's a fucking
anything's a perfect name.
It's fine. Yeah, lean. We'll just put lean on the end of it. It's super
Water
strange.
bottle lean.
That's the one, man. So his parents separated when he's a baby, which that's normal. My parents did the same thing. That's your parents. That's not damning you to doing anything horrible.
No.
That might damn you to sit.
My dad till I was 28 years old.
Yeah, it might damn you to be needy and look for the approval of strangers in terms of telling jokes and recording yourself telling jokes and things like that. But other
You're
than that,
be cynical and think the world is shit, but you don't have. It doesn't force you to lash out. It
doesn't force you to end up being a subject of the show. Maybe a host, but not a subject. Exactly. That's what that does. Is it might give you one, but not the other. They moved around a lot here. Him and his mom moved around several times when he was a kid. They moved to Colorado when he was 9. His mother, when he was 9, told him his father died. His father's not dead, by the way.
What a bitch.
She just said, your
Why
father's
would she
dead.
do that?
I don't know.
That's
Didn't
some
want to be
spiteful
involved.
shit.
Rather than saying, hey, your father's a dick and we're not going to be involved with him and here's why.
That's
she says,
what you do.
He's dead.
Right.
Okay?
He's dead, but what if you happen to end up on Maury in 6 years and he's going, I've just wanted to see you this whole time. Your mom wouldn't let me.
That's true. Well, maybe it's because she got remarried to a guy who was kind of an asshole. Maybe he had something to do with this here. He spends most of his formative years in Florida, which right away, that's going to be a problem. We know that's a problem right now. Right now. He said
that's not a community that shapes and turns out great citizens.
Not generally. No. He says he's abused as a child, became involved in drugs by his teens. We've had a few of people of this pretty much exact description
Florida
here.
will do that to you.
That's what else do you expect if you're in Florida? That's the thing. Abuse. And said he wasn't molested.
That's nice.
So I mean, if you're in Florida, I think you hit that's like winning on a scratcher right there. I'm in Florida. I didn't get molested. I only got involved with drugs and abused. Fuck, that's normal.
I got beat up and I shot up heroin. I'm okay.
Was it molested or eaten by a gator? I think I'm Florida ahead. I'm house money, Florida house money right now, I think, at this point, right? That's how it works down there?
That's great.
It's a very low bar in Florida for what you're hoping for out of your life here. His stepdad here, he did not get along with his stepfather at all. His stepfather, or his mother for that matter, didn't get. But I don't blame him. She's telling him his dad's dead when he's not. So, she might not be the greatest person in the world. The stepfather was apparently a Vietnam veteran who had some problems and was very abusive toward John Albert Taylor here. But his mother, he was pissed off at all the time.
Okay.
And I think a lot of it is because of the attitude she had toward his father, which, for right or wrong, it affected him in a certain way. He said, quote, but she could never control me. My mother had a lot of animosity toward my father. They alienated me for a long time. I was the whipping post.
Okay.
So basically, from everything he says, it's his mother hated his father and took it out on him.
Right.
And so they treated him like shit because
that's terrible.
That's kind of what it was, and that happens.
She looks at him, and he resembles him a little bit, and so she just she has to force all her anger on him.
So at the age of 13, John Albert stabbed his stepfather.
Oh, Jesus.
So there you go. That's how you remedy that.
That took a left turn quick.
That's what you call Florida justice right there, stabbing your stepfather. Actually, that's called a Florida Saturday is what that is.
There's a lot of stepfathers that probably deserve that.
I'm sure there are.
So many.
But this guy, he said, I'm going to go ahead and stab her. That, funny as it might be, if this guy's an asshole and abusive and he stabbed him, good for him. But then he does things that we're not going to root for at all. Apparently, he repeatedly, and I emphasize the word repeatedly, raped his sister Lori during his teen years. Repeatedly.
I almost said constant. At least he didn't fuck his sister. I'm glad
Florida,
I didn't say that.
Yeah, back that train up a drop back to the station, because he absolutely just was appalling in his treatment of his sister and repeatedly did that to her. Also assaulted several other young girls. Was committed to a sex offender program by his parents as a teenager.
Jesus.
First of all, what the fuck? Why are his parents the one submitting him to anything at this point? I want a judge putting him in some sort of program, or I don't know, something.
The stepfather put him in there? I mean, the stepfather probably like, listen, I have a knife in my back, like a legit
I'm sure
one.
that was a mother like, okay, one thing. Fun is fun when you're stabbing your stepfather, but repeatedly raping your sister, we're not going to put up with. I'm sorry, young man. That's where the family draws the line. Apparently,
this is unbelievable.
It's fucking unreal. This guy. So he's in a sex offender program. By 1977, he's 18 years old.
Yeah.
He is charged with burglary and carrying a concealed weapon after he's caught with a stolen gun. So he steals a gun, gets caught with it. Now he's got a gun and he stole it, so he's bucked there. He's convicted of this crime, and he's actually put in prison until December 81. So he got a good charge out of that. That's a good sentence for that. That's he did almost 4 years on that one. So he's out. He gets out in December of 81. World is his oyster. Florida at Christmas time, baby.
Oh boy,
it doesn't get any better than that.
Out of
those little snow things you shake up, and it's got a little
just beach sand.
Well, it's got a snowman with 2 palm trees around it, and you shake it up, and you go, there, look at that.
There it is. And the snowman, of course, has a scarf. He has to have the scarf.
Why'd you buy that? I don't know. That's just what it is.
It's there.
It's there.
It was
people
there,
buy that
and
shit and bring it home.
It was 99 cents. That's why.
My mother went to Florida when I was a kid and brought me back one of those. I was like, what the fuck am I going to do with this? It was a melted snowman. That was the thing. Like, you'd shake it, and it had like the little carrot and the coals and shit, and it floated.
And the sticks.
And the snow and the sticks. And I'm like, what am I doing here? Florida snowman, it said.
Mom.
That's humor right there. That is the
That's how you got so goddamn funny.
That's the one. Yeah, by looking at that and going, what the fuck is wrong with these people? That's why I got an attitude when I was a kid.
Mom.
Yeah, no, this isn't a joke.
This is a terrible joke.
This is not good. I threw it on the ground, shattered it, walked away, then stabbed my stepfather. That's how it worked.
I like it.
So he's out for 3 months. So it's March of 82 here. He doesn't last too long out before he is arrested in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So sticking around Florida, and bad things are going to happen for armed burglary, armed robbery, and sexual assault.
No,
this is terrible. This isn't good. But this is a guy who by the age of 17, because he went to the counseling and all that, the sex offender program, he was by the program, this is on documents. There are, imagine, okay, people call each other names all the time, okay? You say, that guy's this, that guy's that, she's a whatever, all the time. Imagine there was some official with a seal and a stamp on the paperwork.
It's fucking notarized.
That has this said about you, okay? He is diagnosed as a, quote, remorseless pedophile.
Holy shit.
Remorseless pedophile. No. Not only will he keep fucking kids, he's not even sorry about it.
He doesn't even care.
He doesn't even care.
Wow.
He's not one bit sorry about it, as a matter of fact. He is excited.
And a doctor chose to call him that.
Remorseless.
Wow.
He chose that word very carefully. Unrepentant? No. Remorseless.
Forgiveless? No, that sounds made up.
Not only is he not sad that he did it, he doesn't even feel bad for the fucking person he did it to.
Not even a little bit.
Doesn't give a shit.
No.
Somehow, though, the latest arrest in 82, in March of 82, for the armed burglary, robbery, and sexual assault, he is acquitted of these charges. Somehow gets acquitted of these charges in September of 82.
Did they not submit that paperwork?
I don't think they saw the paperwork. I'm going to say, just based on history,
the paperwork and his prosecutors couldn't find it. Those bastards.
He probably did it.
If
the cops in Baltimore hear of a shotgun robbery of drug dealers, they're going to go, I think it's probably Omar. We're just going to say it's Omar. Shut up, Jimmy. Watch the wire. It's Omar. It's going to be Omar. So I'm going to say probably old John Albert Taylor.
This sounds like the kind of guy that would do that.
That sounds like him, yeah. But he's acquitted of these charges. But the problem was he was on parole when this happened. So even having any kind of weapon or anything like that, there was several.
He's going back anyway.
Several parole violations out of this, and he's sentenced to an additional 15 years in prison on parole violations. Yeah, so he's
acquitted or not, good riddance.
You're going to jail. That was just. Are we putting him away for 30 or 15? Because this fucking remorseless pedophile is going to jail right now. God damn it, stepfather stabbing asshole.
That's an unbelievable title.
The remorseless. I think.
I hope he has a business card with it on
Jesus, he should. He really should. So he's released in 1989, so he does about half the time, which is to be expected here.
So at this point now, he's been in prison for 11 years.
11 years, yeah. Jesus. 11 years out of 30.
Yeah.
So that's not
terrible.
a lot. He's only been out for
That's
more
terrible.
than a third of the time he's been in prison, which is not terrific. He's released, and he says, all right, I'm done with Florida. Got to get the fuck out of here. Obviously, this is the problem.
Yeah, it's clearly the surrounding. Yeah.
So his father, not being dead, instead he's actually living out in Utah.
Yeah.
He decides, I'm going to go out west with my father.
He found him.
Found the father, and his sisters are living out there,
too.
Perfect. And his sisters who he,
remorselessly raped for years and years and years.
So that's nice, right? This is
family
unreal.
reunion.
This is getting sweeter by the day, isn't it? Jesus Christ. So June 20th, 1989, he's got two sisters in the area, and one of them is the Laura, one we discussed earlier. I think I called her Lori by accident, as a matter of fact, but it's Laura. Laura is his one sister that he repeatedly
that's the one.
Abused.
That's his victim.
Well, the other one too, but this one is the one where he really went at her over and over and over again. But
for some reason, that really right there added into that. It makes it so much worse.
He did.
She's the one that he went after. No, or
he gave her the
business.
one that
he really.
Yeah, it was fucking not.
Why does that really sting so much?
It's true. That's why. Damn it. So on June 20th, 1989, he arrives at his sister's apartment complex to stay with his sister for a while.
Why is she allowing
She's
that?
She's going to allow him not only to be existing in the area, but to actually stay
in her domicile, the same place.
This is for the purpose was to tattoo. He's a tattoo artist too. He's a remorseless pedophile tattoo artist from Florida. So with a record, this is the guy you want hanging around.
He's been in prison for 11 years
out of 30. This is really a top-notch citizen at this point, right? We're doing great. Jesus Christ, we found a fucking winner this week.
This week, holy shit.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about something special.
Yeah.
A live show. Live. Crime in Sports and Small Town Murder.
You bet.
Coming December 14th to Chicago, Illinois.
Yes.
It's going to be at Lincoln Hall. You can get your tickets right now, today. Don't wait.
Right now.
Go to lh-st.com. And look for us on there. Find it. Also, there will be a link to the tickets in the show description.
There you go.
It is amazing. Come out. We're going to have a good time. We're going to meet everybody that wants to meet us and hang out with us. We're going to have, just like this, a good show. We're going to have some fun visuals. It's going to be a hilarious night. 2 shows, Crime and Sports early show, Small Town Murder late show. We can't wait to see you there, guys.
Let's party.
Let's do it.
Hey guys, I just want to tell you real quick, web support is brought to you by webandwriter.com. If you're looking to build a website, go over to webandwriter.com. They build websites that look great on all screens, graphics, logos, engaging content. Go over to webandwriter.com or go over to facebook.com/webandwriter. They'll build you an unbelievable website at a very fair rate. They'll build you a very great website. Go see them, webandwriter.com.
We've had a few, Hawkins, Texas, the leg breaker guy. There's a bunch, Herb Coddington. I still want to choke that motherfucker. But we've had a few that really, really pissed me off. This guy, wow.
I'm already angry.
I was up late last night, not because I was done. I wasn't behind in schedule. I actually had a good easy schedule this week. I was up angry last night at this fucking asshole.
I'm not surprised.
God damn it, he's ruining my Friday night, this son of a bitch.
It goes back to the argument that I made before that like the programs that are in place that they put him in to try to correct the behavior clearly do not fucking work.
Fuck no.
Holy shit.
They don't work
It
at all.
seems like they sprinkle Miracle Grow on his anger.
What he has, that's true too. No, what he has is, and this is, I don't give a shit. If you disagree with me, I don't care because it's fucking true. Every goddamn medical person would say it, and it's just fucking true. Look at the facts. You cannot fix that.
No.
You can't fix violent pedophile.
No,
that is not fixable.
It's a sickness.
Jimmy wants to fuck women in aprons, okay?
That's what
gets his fucking whatever. That's what tips his little scale over. This is what does it for him. No amount of counseling is going to make Jimmy not want to fuck people in aprons. That's the thing. And no amount of counseling isn't going to make him not a remorseless pedophile.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Fixing it.
It's not going to happen. So he's a complete piece of garbage. So he's staying there. Also, he's there to tattoo not only Laura's husband, but his half-brother. The way this is phrased in the court documents, too, is the purpose of the visit was to tattoo her husband and defendant's half-brother. I hope those are two separate people. That's all I have to say. I really hope they're two separate people. I had to look at that. I looked at that like a dog, like cocked my head. I was like, huh?
Is that a second description of him?
Yeah, how Florida are these people? So June 20th, 1989. This is around the same day here. He is staying there on June 20th. He came a couple days earlier. Now, on June 20th, there's also it's an apartment complex. A lot of people live there. There's a woman named Sharon King who lives there, and she has a daughter named Charla King, who's 11 years old, and they live in the complex also. Now, Charla gets dropped off at the complex at 1:30 p.m. that day. Her foster grandmother, a woman named Bertha Poster, I don't know how that relationship worked with a foster grandmother or what, but her father actually died in 1980, this young girl's father. She's 11 years old. This is, by the way, the day before her 12th birthday. She'll be 12 the next day. Her father died in 1980. So, I mean, very soon after her being born. So, I don't know if maybe that helps with the foster or whatever. Anyway, this Bertha Poster was out with Charla. They were out at the mall walking around. It takes an 11-year-old girl to the mall the day before their birthday. They were talking about the next day she's going to go to the amusement park to celebrate her birthday. So big shit planned. It's school just got out. It's June 20th.
Summer.
Birthday's the next day.
Summer in Utah, amazing.
Beautiful.
It's amazing.
That's gorgeous shit. It really is.
That Rocky Mountain rain is something you can't.
A summer Utah day at the amusement park isn't a bad deal on your 12th birthday. That seems like a damn fine thing to do on your 12th birthday. So Sharon was there. Like I said, Sharon's not there yet. Bertha drops her off at home. Sharon will be home pretty soon. About 3:00 p.m. on the same day, John Albert Taylor is at his sister Laura's place. He's just staying there kind of indefinitely to do tattoos and hang out. He says, I want to go home. I'm going to go to my other sister's house. I'm going to her house right now. And so Laura's like, why? What are you talking about? He didn't even finish the tattoos.
Really?
Okay, he's got half-done, which, again, you don't get any more white trash than a half-done tattoo done by a remorseless pedophile from Florida. You don't get any more white trash than that.
The last guy I want touching my arm.
Fuck no. And putting a needle that's going to break my skin? I don't trust that for shit. He stuck that thing up his ass before he did it or something.
How many people does he use that thing on? He doesn't break them.
No, God, no. He's not going to throw that out afterwards. So he didn't even finish the tattoo. So for him to want to take off, it's like, why are you taking off? You wanted to stay with me. You're doing tattoos, and now you're just leaving. So very odd thing. She takes that as a strange deal. He just takes off. He's gone. Now, Sharon comes home at 3:20. She comes home to her apartment. Sharon King. She gets in. She immediately walks in and turns on the TV. She puts soap opera on. It's 3:00 in the afternoon. 3:20. She walks in the door. It's all it's on anyway. Especially in 1988. There's no, there's cable, but there's you have
She's watching GH.
Really good cable.
On.
Really good cable at like 25 channels in 1988. So I mean, there's not a lot on, and most of them were just bullshit.
There may have been 32 because that's where ESPN was, like near the end of it.
Well, I'm from New York. It was in like the top in New York because it was like we had it from. We were like one of the first market to get ESPN. So
of course.
I remember as a kid being like, oh look, it's just ESPN on basic cable.
All sports. This is great.
Oh, it was great. I loved it. Anyway,
and then Disney bought it.
This is not great here. So she turns on the soap operas, just wanting to get a fix of people's drama and bullshit and whatever. She gets a lot more than that. Now this is fucking horrible, and there's no good way to do this.
There's going to be descriptions. Brace yourselves.
There's no good way to do this. I'm going to try to keep it as I don't know, but
not
to be factual. It's got to be what it is, and it's fucking horrible.
Brace yourselves. This is going to be offensive. That's where we're at.
It's going to be rough. That's all I have to say. We're going to be respectful about it. Obviously, we're not going to make a joke about this at all, but this is brutal shit. So let's find out what happened here. Sharon walks into her bedroom and finds on her bed Charla there, 11 years old. She is not alive. She's naked. She has her arms and legs like open. She has a telephone cord tied around her neck.
Bastard.
And her mouth is stuffed with her own underwear.
Perfect.
And her mother's nightgown is wrapped around her head.
Fucking hell.
This is an 11-year-old girl.
It's like the worst. Like if you would have asked me,
this is the worst. Most
describe to
thing.
me the worst possible way for your child to be dead in your bed. That's it.
This is the one, and this is. I can't think of. I can't think of something worse than this that we've done. Like I really can't. Like we've had a couple of kids that were whatever, but this is, I don't know, man. There's something different here.
If you look at that scene, if you happen upon that scene at all, you know exactly what happened. Like
you know what happened.
The description is already done. I mean. Yeah, you know how she got to that end.
Yeah.
Horrific.
The mother takes her nightgown off of the poor kid's face here, off of Charlotte's face, and the kid's face is swollen and distorted and black from being choked, and I don't even know what to say about that. That's
you said enough.
I don't know. There's no like we don't need to say like what the fuck even because it's just it's there.
That's absolutely implied.
Yeah. So Taylor here had yet to leave his sister's apartment. He just said he wanted to go home, but it had only been a little while.
Yeah.
He watches as the paramedics remove Charla from the apartment.
Okay.
And he says to his sister, he says, quote, when they catch him, they'll just slap him on the hand and let him plead insanity, give him 3 to 5 years and let him go.
Jesus.
That's what he says about this.
That's a man well versed in the penal system.
Well versed in the old. He's versed in a lot of penal everything. So this asshole, they start canvassing a little bit and trying to see what happened. Apparently, Taylor was alone at his sister's apartment all afternoon until she got home. Nobody else was there.
Sure.
So there's nobody saying they were hanging out with him. They talked to the neighbors. A neighbor saw, just when he got there 3 days earlier, saw Taylor watching Charla and a friend in the park kind of a little too closely.
Okay.
Kind of just like, that's a little creepy. But
he took note of that.
He took note of it, but didn't like... I don't know. I guess what do you do?
You don't report it.
What do you do? It's that guy's brother. He coming. What are you going to say? Go to the cops and go, I think he was looking at that girl a little time. I mean, cops would never. That's all they would be doing is going around.
The most you
can
do in that is just make the mental note and be like, if something happens, I'm telling the cops about that guy.
Just going to say, or you could walk up and go, hey, don't fucking stare at that little kid. So then that guy might go, that guy saw me staring at that kid. Maybe I won't kill her now. You know what I mean? Maybe that's it. But I don't know.
Maybe I have to kill him too.
He's also an he's also a tattooed ex-convict guy in Utah in 1990, and who knows if this was some Mormon missionary guy who saw him and wasn't really going to go confront him.
Right.
Go, hey, motherfucker.
I don't necessarily want to tell that guy, hey, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe not. Another neighbor heard, this was shortly after Charla had been seen coming into the complex after her foster grandmother dropped her off, heard her screaming loudly.
Oh, Jesus.
But didn't do anything about it. Didn't say anything, didn't knock on the door.
What?
Didn't... I mean,
that's not very Mormon of you.
That's not. But I mean, also little girls sometimes they play scream like that.
Oh my God,
and they do
my daughter.
They do it to show you how loud they can be. My little girl used to do
how
that.
How funny it is that I can scream and deafen you.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, people are going to think you're dying. Well, this is why.
Somebody thinks I'm beating you right now.
Stop crying wolf. This is what happens here. Another neighbor saw Taylor at the foot of the staircase outside of Charla's building right before she was found.
Oh.
So like within an hour before she was found, he was the sister lived in a different building and he was over at the bottom of the staircase of her building. Had no reason to fucking be there whatsoever. So they do an autopsy on this, and again, this is going to be
this fucking horrific.
This is tough, but to get the full scope, it is what it is. But so
just go. We're pushing forward.
Put your shield on right now, and push forward here. The autopsy, the cause of death, strangulation by the telephone cord. She's also was injured badly by other things here, by injuries to her vaginal and rectum area, acute hemorrhaging there, very, very bad. Basically,
a violent rape and strangulation.
A violent rape, and especially in the non-vaginal area of violent rape and
the prison way.
The prison way to the point where they know how far inside.
No.
Yeah. So
Jesus God.
Yeah, I'm not even going to say, but the information I have is sickening.
Never mind. I don't want to know that information. I didn't want to ask that
horrible.
question.
I'm looking at this shit in front of me, and I wrote all this down, and I'm just like, I can't even.
My question was gonna just be like, was it obvious that it was a different instrument than himself?
No. I was just going to say, evidence indicates that the object that caused the injuries to mainly the rectal area was likely smooth and firm, like a penis, fingers, or sexual device. They say in the court. So yeah, and by the by the length of distance that it was there, he was doing it himself.
Right.
It was
it's
him.
within 4 inches. Right.
It was it was definitely him.
I want to hurt him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying here.
Go on.
The other injuries were just as bad to the other areas. It's just fucking horrific.
And we don't beat her about the face because she was all swollen.
Yeah, she's swollen, and also that was from being strangled.
Okay,
that's how violently he strangled her. It was just a. Her head was like
ready to pop off.
Yeah,
sure.
It was like a berry. It's awful.
Gotcha.
So this is fucking horrible, man.
It's so hard to say this stuff.
This stuff is horrible. Yeah, it really has. And I've been thinking about it all night. Like, how am I going to present this? But it is what it is, and it happened, and it's fucking horrible.
And this is why people
root against this guy.
It's
now.
Not that somebody hurt a child. It's how someone hurt a child.
That's what I mean.
It's not the fact that it's a child. It's the fact that it's so fucking violent against a child.
And remorseless was the perfect way to put it.
Remorseless.
Doesn't give a fuck.
No.
To be able to do that, you can't give any fuck about anything in the human spectrum. You just can't. It's impossible. It's fucking impossible. So June 25th, 1989, police officer Marcia Gathercole receives a phone call with information connected to this, possibly. Okay. Somebody who says, I know someone who might have been involved in this here. Sure. And we'll find out who that was and who the call was from. They find Taylor's fingerprints in the house, in the apartment. They find it on the telephone.
It's not supposed to be there.
Not supposed to be there, and they match it to the records provided by the people in Florida, knowing they needed to look for this guy from the tipster here. He's arrested on June 28th. At 9 p.m., he's with his half-sister, Teresa Taylor, in Ogden, the other one he went to. They charge him with first-degree murder.
Wow.
Okay. Turns out Laura, his sister that he repeatedly raped as a child,
went after,
thought he showed an unusual interest in the murder, and she was the one who called the cops on him.
Really?
She fucking called the cops on him. Fucking imagine this poor woman, a lifetime of being abused by this guy, ruined her childhood.
Yeah.
Imagine the type of guy she probably hooked up with. Imagine what type of guy her husband was that said, bring your pedophilic ex
free tattoos, bring him in.
Guy from Florida, brother in, because I need a free tattoo. Right. That's the type of guy she hooked up with because this guy destroyed her, just absolutely annihilated her as a human, as a child.
And she probably heard some of the details of the death.
Yeah.
And I guarantee it rang a bell in her head saying,
you can't imagine.
Remember what happened to you?
You can't think for a second that this lady didn't say, this fucking happened to me, and he's doing it still, and no, fuck this shit. It had to be. It had to be.
And he corrected one flaw in his assaults earlier, was that he left that sister alive. That you can't do that anymore.
Nope. You gotta. It's fucking ridiculous,
Unbelievable.
Man. He is arrested, John Albert Taylor. He says later on, quote, I remember telling my father that whoever they arrested for this crime was history, and that was before my arrest. Mm-hmm. So he's saying, now he's saying that they're going to be fucked because he saw what public outcry was. This little girl too. She's just a cute little sweet looking little girl. I mean, she wasn't, and it doesn't matter either way, but she wasn't like 11 and like trying to look 16.
Right.
You know what I mean? She was enjoying being a kid. She was still. 11, being 11, looked like a little 11-year-old kid that would be like, let's go play in the, double dutch and fucking whatever the hell, you know what I mean? Or nowadays they'd be Snapchatting pictures of their tits to each other, I'm sure, but I don't know. In 1989, they're not. You know what I mean?
No, she was listening to New Kids on the Block and having a crush on one of them. It's terrible.
Just a sweet little kid, man. It's horrible. Now, June 28th, by 5 days later, Sharon moves out of the apartment complex. She gets, which I don't fucking blame her. Yeah. Her daughter was just murdered in the apartment, and she's really pissed off because the neighbors who came forward as witnesses didn't do anything when they heard her screaming.
Right.
They were like, what
They're giving all this information about things that happened that should have raised concerns, and it raised none.
Maybe all of this could have prevented this shit, possibly, but no. Taylor vehemently denies that he was ever even in the apartment.
Really?
He says, I have no idea what you're talking about.
We got fingerprints, dickhead.
They say, well, that's funny. You got fingerprints over here on the phone in the place, and he said, actually, I'm sorry, I wasn't
forgot
there.
about.
See, I went in there to rob the place. I'm a burglar. I don't know if you know that. I'm also a remorseless pedophile, but, on the side, I do a lot of burgling. You know what I mean? I get in there. I'm good at it. So I went in there. No one was there when I was there, obviously. It was totally empty. I just went in. I picked up the telephone, and, and that was it. He's like, I picked it up.
I picked it up because I was going to steal it, and then I decided not to.
Yeah, well, he said that, it was because there was money underneath it. Okay. So he was looking under it for stuff, and he said he found some money there. Yeah. So he was like, this is that's the only reason I touched the telephone. There's no reason to think that it would be anything else, considering it was the cord from the phone that strangled the kid. Right. So that's the only thing with his goddamn fingerprints on it, was something that he could use as a weapon. They found knives that were his and his sister's home, knives that they said look like, some of them they did testing to see if one of them could possibly be the one that made the cut on the telephone cord. Okay. And they thought they found one that did that. Also, between his arrest and his trial, he gets really weird, changes his appearance, does his facial hair and hair. He's really weird, man. While he's awaiting trial, he calls Laura, his sister. Okay. He took the one who turned him in. Yeah. He doesn't know his sister turned him in.
Oh, he has no idea. Okay.
Not yet. No, he doesn't know this. He calls her and says, "Hey, tell them I was at your apartment during the time of the murder. Tell them I was with you. Be my alibi." And she's like, no, fuck that. Yeah. I don't think so. She arrived within 30 minutes of the time, but he didn't know she turned him in.
That's great.
So he was kind of, he just...
You're asked out, sir.
Yeah, his attempted bullshit alibi had to feel great for her.
Absolutely.
Honestly, brother or not, it had to feel great to finally slay the monster.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So he also, while he's in jail, tells an inmate that he killed a little girl, but it was an accident. Okay. That's what he said. Well, it was an accident, because you can accidentally rape and strangle a little girl. Yeah. That happens all the time.
Wrapping a cord around her neck and violently pulling it.
Yeah. Right. While you rape her and then put shit on her head and everything else and stuff underwear in her mouth.
Her own underwear.
Fine. Yeah, that's good. That's fucking, accidental.
And you know what? He told that guy that because he's been in prison and he's trying to impress somebody. I killed a girl, but it was an accident.
Right. Yeah, I'm not a remorseless pedophile
I'm not
or anything.
Terrible.
Shit. What do I look like here?
Do I look like a monster?
Some kind of monster?
Look at this facial hair that I've created today.
I look great. I'm looking sharp. Jesus Christ, man. So November 27th, 1989, the trial begins.
Good.
It is under District Judge David Roth because Taylor waives his right to a jury trial. Oh. He wants the trial to be decided by a judge. Well, that makes sense.
That is some ballsy shit.
No. This is what you do in this situation, though, if you have the option, because a jury has emotion involved. A jury, you're going to get a mother on that jury. You're going to get a dad. You're going to get
a good point.
And these people are going to be pissed at you. A judge, I think you're thinking of, is a little more clear. He's not going to be clouded by details.
I don't know.
Judges, no matter what, a judge has heard worse. A jury has never heard worse.
You think so? Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
A judge has seen crime scene photos.
That's a great thought.
Just as bad. A jury sees a crime scene photo of a little girl with a telephone cord wrapped around her neck with injury.
They've never seen that.
They want whoever's sitting in that chair, they want his balls on the top of a fucking pole. That's what they want.
The other point is it's 1989. These people don't have the internet. They're not watching. They're not as desensitized as we are
today. And true crime isn't what it was now, too. People don't see. There wasn't investigation discovery. It wasn't any of that shit. There really wasn't. There was very little things. Law and Order, that's the year Law and Order came out.
Really?
Or 90 it came out. So, I mean, there wasn't even Law and Order.
No. The most you've got is the news, and they're not showing you dead bodies.
Fucking Matlock and Murder, She Wrote. That's what I mean, though. That's what they're doing. That's what these people have seen.
Just dramatized bullshit that's not real.
Yeah, the judge is going to be a little less sensitive to
it. That's a brilliant thought, man.
Just look at the facts of the case. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just how I
I'm saying that's a brilliant thought. The lawyer may have said that to him. Look, a jury... This is going to be the worst thing they've ever seen. Yeah. The judge has always seen worse.
They're going to want to give you the old Vlad the Impaler, fucking, lube up a pole and let you slide down and fucking eventually until it pops out the top of your head. That's what they're going to want to do to you. Yeah. Let's try it with the judge here. They have opening statements. His defense attorney, Don Redd, he tells them that Taylor's going to testify on his own behalf. Yeah. And he admits to being in the apartment, but he said he was in the apartment to be a burglar, and that's it.
That's it.
He said no one was home. He left his fingerprints on the telephone. He did not kill the 11-year-old girl. Okay. Someone else then, what are the odds?
It's crazy.
You break in, steal some shit. Literally within an hour, someone else, another remorseless pedophile breaks in and murders a little girl.
In a town of 9,000 people, they found two people that are burglars, and they burgled the exact same place.
Jesus, he should.
And one of them happens to be a violent pedophile.
If he gets off, he should definitely play the lottery. Let's just say that, because his odds, boy,
it's unbelievable.
Head over to Vegas, big guy.
It's not natural.
No.
That doesn't happen.
No. So Sharon, the mother, testifies.
Yeah.
God, can you imagine?
No.
And
I don't even want to.
Not even imagine doing it. Imagine just having to watch a mother go through this. Never mind actually be a mother doing it.
Actually sitting in a chair, looking at your deceased child from a horribly violent end.
And then describing how you found her.
Right.
That's, I don't even know. That's something you would say in a psychiatrist's office 10 years from now, like while you sobbed.
That's
a
day I don't want.
No. She testified she got home from work 3:20, like we said. She turned on the soap opera, walked into her bedroom, and then testified to what she found. She said, quote, "I started screaming." Yeah. No fucking shit. Yeah, I guess you did start screaming. She ran to the neighbor's house. I don't think she had, the phone cord was cut.
Right.
So she ran to the she ran to the neighbor's house and called police. The police instructed her to administer CPR, try to administer CPR.
Listen, officer, it's a bit too late.
It was, fucking horrible, man. She describes trying to do that in court. See a jury.
She had to unwind a cord.
Imagine a jury watching that.
Unbelievable.
Imagine those people sitting there just thinking, when I get a hold of that motherfucker that made this woman go through this, I'm going to kill him. For
sure.
Like, it's, wow.
And I get the choice of whether or not he goes to prison for this. This is the best day of my life.
She didn't even see the cord until she tried to do CPR.
Wow.
Because she tilted the head back to do it, and then she saw the cord wrap around the neck.
Fuck, she was that swollen?
So,
fuck.
Yeah, she didn't even see it. Wow. The Bertha Porter testifies, saying that she was probably the last person to see Charla, talk to Charla, you know, unless anybody said hello to her walking through the complex or something like that. But yeah, so far, this is pretty goddamn damning. I don't know how you're going to have a defense to this. He testifies in his own defense.
Really?
This fucking moron.
He takes a fucking stand?
He takes a stand. His lawyer said he was going to do it, and he's going to goddamn do it. He says that he only entered the apartment to rob it. That's it. No one was home. Left his fingerprints, the money, does the whole thing. The county deputy attorney, William Daines, he says that Taylor said at first that he denied even in being in the fucking apartment until, witnesses placed him at the scene at the time. And then he was like, well, I robbed it. And then it went from there. They had the prison inmate, Mike Gallego. He testified that he talked to Taylor. He said he had a brief conversation with Taylor, which Taylor told him that he killed a girl by accident and masturbated on the corpse.
Oh, Jesus.
That's what he told this guy.
That's better?
Brief conversation. Brief. Small talk, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I realized last night, by the way, I'm terrible at small talk.
Yeah.
I went to my wife Sarah, her nieces and nephews played t-ball, and we went to the game. And I'm sitting there, and I am fucking awful. At one point, she looked at me like, "Are you going to talk to anybody?" And I'm like, "I thought I was. Like, I'm just not good at it. Here, I'll talk and talk. I need something to talk about. Otherwise, I don't know what the fuck to say because I'm afraid someone's going to tell me this in a brief conversation. Okay. I feel like maybe, but like, small talk. How are you? Yeah, my job sucks. This and that. Accidentally killed a girl, masturbated on the corpse. I don't want to hear that shit. So no small talk for me because that's what happens.
Hilarious.
Corpse masturbators. That's all that's out there. So the crime lab guys here, James Gaskill and Dwayne Moyes, they testified that the person who cut the cord and had the whole deal. He said that's the same person.
It's all happened by the same guy
as the person who left the fingerprints on the phone. It's all consistent. The lab director said that the prints matched fingers on Taylor's left hand. That was the big one here. That fucking one bit. If this asshole put a glove on, not going to fucking catch
Nobody
him.
Gets
I mean,
caught.
they can put him in there, and people say I saw him around it, but there's no proof.
Not enough to.
He's
going to
sit in there and go, I don't know what you're talking about. And what are they going to say?
Right.
There's no physical evidence.
Right.
There's nobody saw him actually do it. He would have been one of those guys where they're like, we know he fucking did it, but we let him go, and they keep an eye on him. One of those guys, but nope. He fucked that up good. Thank God he's incompetent on top of everything.
No doubt.
The crime lab guy also said that there's no evidence in the apartment to indicate a burglary took place or that any other person was connected to anything.
Wow.
He said nothing, that this was a killing and a raping, and that's all that happened here.
That's the reason for the entry.
Yes. So that all happens. December 5th, 1989 is the verdict from the judge. He comes out. He's Taylor's expecting some legal wisdom to come down and see through this incredible ruse that the state has put on this poor man. Judge Roth finds Taylor guilty of first-degree child rape and first-degree murder.
Wow.
So fuck you.
And in Utah, first-degree child rape.
That is not good.
No.
Unless you are FDLS and have a compound. Right. So now we go to the penalty phase here. Penalty phase is, like we know what this is here, they introduce evidence of, this is when you try to tell your sob story.
Right.
Don't kill me. I had a terrible night. I had a terrible childhood. And I raped my sister constantly. Like, that's his childhood.
I don't deserve to die, obviously.
Yeah, he said he was, when he was a juvenile, he had a lot of criminal acts that he was charged and never convicted with. And this is the prosecutor's going to say also. Now, they're going to get to say, you want to talk about your childhood?
Yeah.
Let's talk about your fucking childhood.
Yeah.
Why don't we?
Yeah.
How about sexual intercourse with your younger sister against her will when she was 12 years old repeatedly? How about burglary of a home? And we're going to get into the details of that. How about sexual abuse of a 6-year-old neighbor girl?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Evidence introduced convictions of burglary, the concealed weapons, after he was an adult, raping kids. Let's talk about how on your paper here from the state, I see a stamp on there. There's a seal, looks pretty official. Remorseless pedophile.
Signed by 7 different doctors.
Holy shit. Do we even need... okay. Anyway, let's get into this here. Bobby Thomas was testified that in 1974 that Taylor temporarily stayed with his grandmother, who was this Thomas's neighbor. One day, Thomas's daughter came home from school and found Taylor inside their home, and he was trying to rob things. Yeah, and he was confronted and he denied it. However, in 1978, from prison, because he was in prison in 78, he wrote Thomas a letter apologizing for what he'd done. I don't know if this was some kind of horse shit to try to get parole.
Sure.
Like, I'm apologizing to people I've wronged. The state does say there's nobody else that can corroborate this. This is just this Bobby Thomas guy, but who the hell comes out of the woodwork from 1974 who's lying about that? That's a weird thing to make up. Also, the victim from a childhood, the 6-year-old of the sex abuse that he did, testified that when she was 6 years old, Taylor asked her to come over to his grandparents' house and look at his trains.
Oh, Jesus.
They went into the garage, and then he pulled down her pants and touched her, and then he took his pants off and started masturbating.
Jesus.
This poor 6-year-old girl.
Sweet train.
She began to... Yeah, fuck me. Good God.
Is that a Lionel?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, no shit.
So terrible.
How do you get the smoke to come out? Fuck me, man. That is the worst thing ever. Jesus Christ. Poor fucking kids, man. This is where we're at. We're delirious from this.
Oh,
you have to be.
That was such a shock, too.
I feel like I'm getting beat up
you
here.
You snuck it on me.
Sorry.
Fuck, you raped me with that joke.
Hey, it happens sometimes, Jimmy. I'm a remorseless joke rapist.
That woman hates trains forever.
Oh, she hates trains.
That's the thing that these people don't realize they're doing to people. It's not you're not just getting what... They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They don't care. That's what it is.
And this was when he was still working it out, too, because when she screamed and cried, he stopped.
Really?
He didn't figure out yet. I got to shut her up and do what I want.
Eventually, there's consequences.
This is when he was trying to work it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Trying to work out whatever sick shit that got him off.
It doesn't just end after it's ended. After the whistle blows and the smoke comes out, it still goes. There's still problems.
Now, Taylor claims that there's no other witnesses to any of this stuff, and that with all these criminal acts discussed in court, like, what the fuck? Like, this is tainting shit. This is prejudicial, and it's not true. But it's not prejudicial because people are coming out of the goddamn woodwork, and this guy, I don't give a shit.
He's
if it's legal or
affected
not.
so many lives.
Holy fuck. Yeah, well, Jesus Christ, man. During the penalty phase here, Taylor's another half-sister of his, Leslie Beal, God knows what he did to her, traveled from Florida to testify for him about his the harsh treatment from his stepfather.
Don't care.
And, and that he was tried so hard in his 3 years as a sex offender program at a Florida mental institution. So he's doing time at Florida mental institutions and sex offender programs like we talked about. Holy goddamn shit. Things were not going to look good.
That's not a positive thing, by the way. And you're on your behalf.
Yeah.
She's going to come out and be like, he was been in a a mental institute for the sexually depraved. Like, that guy was there.
He can't help it. Don't do anything to him. He can't help it. He's not depraved. He's just, there's just something wrong with him. And it's,
there is something wrong with him. He's fucking depraved.
My stepfather was so mean to him, and that's why he's got to do this. And it's like, no, you stabbed your stepdad. Right. That was enough. You're even at that point.
Right.
Once you stab a guy.
You got even with that guy. That should fix it.
And once you stab a guy, I think you're even. Right? I don't know.
I think you're right.
I think you're right. For most things, anyway. So December 19th, 1989 is sentencing here.
Okay.
And Roth says, Judge Roth says that the facts of the case outweigh any mitigating circumstances this guy could possibly fucking prevent.
Yeah.
And he is, let's do this here. You, sir, may fuck off
to
death row.
Oh, my God.
You are getting executed, asshole.
Holy shit.
And like we said, we're not big death penalty guys. Kill this guy now.
For sure.
Kill him however you want. I don't give a shit.
I'm just
Do whatever
jacked
you want
that
to
they
this
did
fucking
it.
guy. He's the first.
How about that he wanted a judge because the judge has always seen worse. And he gets
he was
death.
fucked either way.
Wowza.
He would have got death probably with jurors jumping out of the box to do it themselves if it was a jury. So at least the judge said we're going to let a guy, let somebody else do it.
They're all going to bring their own extension cords.
Yeah, in this county, he's the first person to be sentenced to death in this county in 40 years.
Wow.
So it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Because also, this is the death penalty was just coming back in the 80s because we had from 66 to 76, there was no death penalty in the U.S.
Right.
The Supreme Court struck it down.
I think
and then it started coming back.
I think fucking what's the guy with the bug? Why can't I think of his name?
With the bug.
The Volkswagen bug. Bundy.
Ted Bundy.
Bundy's kind of the one that changed the argument where everybody's like, maybe we should have
It was
that.
all those Green River Killer, all those late 70s, early 80s serial killers.
Right.
People were like, well, we got to kill that guy.
We got to kill some people.
Kill some people. Yeah. Now they just put it for a guy who robs a liquor store.
Right.
And, but this is what it was meant for.
Right. This is why we design it.
Perfect.
Right. Yeah.
Kill this. But I don't like the state doing it. Like I said, this should be, we've decided to release him into the street for vigilante justice. Do whatever the fuck you want to this guy. I don't care.
Somebody give Sharon a very large weapon and let her fix it.
Let Sharon pinata this fucking guy.
I would enjoy that.
Until his organs come out like mini Snickers. I don't give a shit. I'm tired of this asshole already. So, fuck.
Unbelievable.
He's sentenced to death there. 1990, and I don't even care about this. Fuck this guy. His father, Albert, who had been at the court proceedings this whole time because he lived in Utah here, he dies of heart failure on October 8th, 1990. What kind of a monster was he, though? I mean, God damn it. He created
his
a
balls,
pedophile.
Right. This guy was in that guy's balls, so who gives a shit?
And who knows what he did to him to cause this. So I don't trust this guy as far as I can throw him either. Taylor actually tried to get permission to go to the funeral.
What?
Are you out of your mind?
Fuck you,
Are you
dude.
out of your goddamn mind? You're not going anywhere.
You don't even get to talk to prisoners. You're on death row. You can just absolutely not.
No. They should do something to his father's corpse in front of him if he cares about it that much, just to say fuck you. He appeals, obviously automatic appeal on a death penalty, and it's for insufficient evidence is what he's claiming, which seems like a lot of evidence to me.
Yeah.
He is claiming.
Does he want semen?
No, he's right. He's claiming I want semen.
Right.
He's claiming all of the old stuff they brought in, people he did old. No, they're saying that shouldn't have been allowed in.
Okay.
And they're like, well, yeah, it should have been because it's people saying that this guy did this to me. So anyway, about the insufficient evidence claim, and they're talking about the lawyers that are representing him because people are doing this for free because it's a death penalty case in Utah, and we'll find out why, but it's very high profile. So lawyers are doing it for free for the the status of it.
Pro bono, just to have their name on the news every goddamn night.
Sharon King here, the mother, says, quote, I'm really upset about it. What if it was their child? My baby had just as much right to live as John Albert Taylor. I believe these kind of lawyers, when one of their clients gets out and kills again, the blood's on their hands too. Well, I mean, the lawyer's
he's not
a lawyer.
getting out, so
this guy's
there's
not
that.
getting out.
But here's the other thing.
But she has a right to feel however she wants.
Yes.
Angry and mad.
Sharon's absolutely right, but her baby also, if her baby became a criminal, deserves a good lawyer.
You want a lawyer. Right. Everybody needs a lawyer.
You want as good of a lawyer as the prosecution has. That should be fair.
And in this spectrum of lawyers, there are good lawyers and there are scumbag lawyers and there are scumbag lawyers who are good too. And it's just like any other goddamn profession. So those people are probably scumbags.
Yeah.
So, any lawyer who doesn't need the publicity would go, I'm not fucking defending that guy.
No.
Screw that guy, especially not in the Post.
Right.
But that's where the attention is because we'll find out here.
Okay.
He just says all the acts they brought in were 15 years prior to trial, blah, blah, blah. He even said that about his going to prison in Florida.
Dude, that's because you were in prison for 15 years. Of course everything's 15 years ago.
He claims he was deprived due process under the Constitution because, quote, the lapse of time clouds people's memories and makes it difficult, if not impossible, to find witnesses to the alleged occurrences. Right. Well, guess what? They found a girl you diddled, so that's good enough for me.
I'm in.
I am in. One of his sisters also, because his sisters, even the ones that came for her, like the one that came from Florida for him,
right?
She came for him, for Taylor, but she's also subject to cross-examination.
Yeah.
So guess what they asked her on cross?
Oh, boy.
He ever rape you?
Oh, shit.
Actually, yes, 3 times. Everyone on the stand that he brought in his defense also raped her. Yeah. He also raped them. So it's like you can't. All your witnesses can't be your own rape victims.
Right.
That's not okay. And her testimony was corroborated by the other sister and the whole deal. I mean, it is what it fucking is.
Horrible.
But it comes out, too, that he resided in that mental institution sex offender program for almost 4 years as a teenager.
That's so much time.
And then got out and just right into the world doing this
raping.
shit. Now, they say to him, too, well, if you have witnesses to the contrary, feel free to call them. And he says, I don't have any of those witnesses, and anyone I could have called are unavailable right now. So you know how that goes.
Dead or raped somewhere.
People are busy.
Right.
They're busy. They can't come do
They're
this
busy
here.
dealing with the shit that I did to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Jesus Christ. Now, the court says in their official language, we have previously held that in the penalty phase, any relevant, aggravating, and mitigating circumstances may be admitted. We further added that the sentencing body, quote, may not rely on other violent criminal activity as an aggravating factor supporting the death penalty unless it is first convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that the accused did commit the other crime. Okay. So they're saying you can't say that he did a bunch of horrible shit and then say he's guilty of that crime that we're accusing him of now because of that. Okay. But if he's definitely guilty of that, then you can use that. You can use his other bullshit. Yeah. If he's guilty of the crime we're accusing him of now, you can use his past shit to say, let's hang the son of a bitch. That's basically what they're getting at here. Right. They conclude that Taylor's due process rights were not violated, and the receipt of the evidence of the 3 uncharged criminal acts, that doesn't violate it.
Right.
He also says that it's weird. He's appealing on the fact that the conviction or the evidence of juvenile offenses in a capital murder case can't be presented. But basically what they're saying is he wasn't charged with these. Okay. These are just These are just like character witnesses, basically, saying, this guy raped me all the time. And so it will be admissible, they said, because there was no court record or any record of these things going on. So they don't. And then if the sister's going to come and say he's a great guy, right? Well, then you're opening. Did he rape you? Right. Well, then how's he a great guy? Right. So that's how it works there. Jesus Christ.
He wants that testimony thrown out, like the cross-examination thrown
Anything
out.
Bad against him, he wants thrown out, basically.
Anything that's damaging to my case.
Who doesn't like me, I want it thrown out. They say there's no error in the admittance of the juvenile offenses. And also he says that the burglary and carrying a concealed weapon should not have been introduced as an aggravating circumstances at the penalty phase because there was no evidence that there were violent crimes involving threat or use of force. This is his former conviction. Sure. They say that the cases here that he's citing don't even apply to this shit because he's bringing up cases that basically introduce burglary as like a way to prove that the guy had committed a violent felony. Okay. All these things, like he's not doing it right. Court documents say, as previously mentioned, our sentencing statute specifically allows for evidence of a defendant's character, background, history, mental and physical condition, and any other facts in aggravation or mitigation of the penalty, regardless of its admissibility under the exclusionary rules of evidence. So, if you're doing sentencing, shit is different. Yeah, it's not like court. Yeah. The court finds no error in the guilt phase or the penalty phase of the trial. They said in sentencing Taylor to death, the trial judge relied on the statutory aggravating factors of the rape of the victim, which is horrible. Yeah. The burglary, the way he gained entrance into the house. The judge found that his prior convictions for burglary and carrying a concealed weapon to be aggravating factors, Absolutely. As they goddamn are. He also concluded that he was a free person, Taylor, unable to avoid his criminal activity, and there's no mitigating circumstances for you. Nothing was presented in evidence. The judge did say that there was some evidence of Taylor having an, quote, unfortunate childhood, although he also called that evidence, quote, sketchy and not very compelling. Sounds like you made childhoods worse for others than you ever had for you.
I love that a judge used the word sketchy.
Sketchy. Well, sketchy. I'm not sure about that. And what he does is the conviction and sentence are affirmed. Yeah. Eat shit. Basically here. He gave up his appealing in 1995, October, after his request for a retrial was rejected by the Utah Supreme Court. Yeah. There was some weird little legality they were trying to get a retrial on. And they said no. So what he does, what Taylor does at this point, is he fires his defense attorney, Ed Brass. He says, quote, if I don't fight for my appeal, I don't need an attorney. Which makes sense. Yeah. He said he was prepared to die, partly because he was not healthy at all. He had an enlarged heart, bleeding ulcers, and swollen legs and feet, and diabetes, too, I believe, which, good, fuck you. His quote was, quote, I don't want to die alone in my cell. Guess who fucking died alone somewhere else? Son of a bitch.
And guess who died alone
in her fucking mother's bed?
Not much bigger room, by the way. In an apartment, it wasn't much bigger.
I don't want to die in my cell. We'll all cry for you. Unbelievable here. So the original execution date was set for 1992, but when they did the appeals and all that, it was rescheduled. Sure. He was trying to get the appeal based on a 1992 law that establishes life imprisonment without parole because they didn't have that exact statute before. So he's like, I can just have that. Just throw me in there forever. And they were like, no, you're good. We'll kill you. That's okay.
We got the right one.
He had claustrophobia and boredom.
Oh, my God.
There. Oh, I feel
what
so bad.
What a whiner.
No shit,
he's got so many
asshole.
Objections.
Oh, God. He's just so put upon, this guy. For Christ's sake. Earned his high school diploma in there.
Oh, good for him.
Studied to be a paralegal until his educational grant money ran out. Good. Fuck you. What does he need to be a paralegal for? What do you need this for? You're not even appealing anymore. You have no need for any legal knowledge.
You have a death sentence, asshole.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. The judge here orders Taylor, Judge Roth, orders Taylor to choose a method of execution.
Oh, that's fun.
That's how it works there. He chooses to be executed by firing squad.
Yes.
Okay? Firing squad, he says, to make the process more difficult for Utah state officials.
Yeah.
In an interview, he said, quote, I didn't commit the murder and I'm not going to submit to letting them kill me on that table. I don't want to go out flopping around like a fish out of water on that table.
How do you think you go out when you get shot?
Yeah, he said,
you're
going
to flop a little.
He said, quote, to be strapped to a table and injected full of drugs leaves me with a feeling of helplessness because I am innocent of the crime for which I was convicted of. Anyway, if my execution is carried out, it will be murder. Granted, it may be legally sanctioned, but nonetheless, murder it will be. And the firing squad is my way of showing that point. And because of the cost and inconvenience it will cause the state because they are not really prepared for an execution by firing squad.
Okay.
Which is true because they had not had one since 1977.
Wow.
Because it's not.
In 77 they did one?
76, I'm sorry.
Okay.
77.
That's awesome.
No, it was 77.
That's crazy.
Gary Gilmore.
Okay.
Yeah, there had been some. The reason why they haven't been doing it a lot is because there's some crazy shit that goes on with firing squad. It's a weird, guys have to shoot a guy in the heart, so it's a weird thing. I have a couple of little stories of past firing squad mishaps.
Really?
Yeah, I got some firing squad mishaps here, and some weird shit that happened. Like one guy was an 18-year-old who sold his body for a bag of candy.
What?
Yeah, he was a killer from New York. He went out there and he in a Provo jail yard. He sold his corpse to a Provo surgeon for a pound of candy.
What?
Like his body. He said, you can have my body for a pound of candy.
Wow.
So he could experiment on it because this was back in the day. Super weird. One guy allowed an EKG basically to monitor his heartbeat during his death by firing squad, which is crazy. His heart stopped 15.6 seconds after the bullet struck. Which is crazy. His heart rate went from 72 beats to 180 beats at the moment he was strapped into the chair. Which imagine that.
And
he donated his body to the university there. Another guy just ended up getting a hold of some drugs and OD'd the night before the firing squad. Which get out of there.
That's cool.
This other guy named this guy's crazy, man. Kirkham. He had pizza and ice cream in the prison auditorium and was playing the piano and shit like the day before the murder, having a good old time. And he was, I guess, a shitty piano player.
Sure.
He couldn't really do it. And then he said, quote, I'll just have to practice more, and started laughing and shit. So like he was super weird. But we'll get to why he's similar here.
Okay.
This Kirkham also said when he was offered hanging or firing squad, and he said, quote, what costs most? He chose the noose because of the publicity it would generate and because he wanted to make his death difficult for the state. He said, quote, I heard the shooters get to keep the guns and they're not getting anything for free from me, which I think is fucking hilarious, honestly.
So he just wanted
to be a dick.
Yeah. Cost the fucking state a little more money.
Yeah. In 1879, there was a guy who they didn't use the straps on.
Yeah.
He convinced them,
I'll stand there.
I'm a man.
Yeah, I can take it.
Exactly. He said, I want to look the people in the eye. I give you my word. I intend to die like a man.
Okay.
And the whole deal. But he didn't, and they started shooting, and he jumped. They missed him. They missed his heart because he was moving around.
Yeah.
And then he jumped out of the chair. He jumped out of the chair screaming, oh, my God, they've missed. And it took 27 minutes for him to die.
Wow.
So that is fucking horrible, man.
They hit him in the shoulder and just a
he moved a little bit. It's a heart of, Jesus Christ. Not great here.
Oh, my God, they've missed. Somebody just shoot him in the face.
No shit. Another time they had a shooting machine that they made, which was basically, it was a crazy thing. It was a 3 mounted rifles on a steel frame.
Oh, sweet Pete.
And it was pre-aimed and loaded with 2 live rounds and a blank and had silencers and everything. And
like that Batman in The Dark Knight when Batman's shooting at the fucking that thing that moved. Do you remember that one? That shot at the bricks to get the.
I think that's what we're looking at here. It was fired by a coil spring mechanism set off by cutting 3 strings.
Awesome.
That's what it did basically. And they called it the shooting gallery, and it was only used that one time with this guy, and then went into storage. And then during World War I, they donated it to the scrap metal drive. So it's not around anymore.
They donated a fucking killing machine to a scrap metal yard. That's awesome.
It's so weird.
So good.
So January 1996 here, this is before he's about to be executed. They asked him about Sharon King, anything like that, and he said, quote, "There's really not much I can say to her. I'm sorry for her loss, but I didn't do it."
Okay.
For his last meal, he orders pizzas with everything, quote unquote, so just, everything on it.
Fucking special.
A bunch of shit on there. They said this was the same
2
thing.
pizzas?
Pizzas, just as many as you want.
Whatever.
This is the same meal that the guy who said, what cost more?
All right.
Guy they're not getting anything for free from me. They said it reminded him a lot here. He shared the pizza, Taylor did, with his uncle Gordon Lee, because his dad had already died. His attorney, Ed Brass, was there, also a Catholic priest. He said his stomach had been doing flip-flops earlier in the day and requested some antacid medication. And he said he didn't want any more pizza, soda, or coffee because his stomach was bothering him.
Yeah.
And he refused a sedative also. By the way, too, he got religious in the last couple of weeks before his death. He tried to pull that shit. I don't know what good he thinks that's going to fucking do him, but whatever. Now, they have a kind of a minute-by-minute or whatever, 15-minute by 15-minute breakdown of his night.
Fantastic.
Here. 4:30 p.m., he's sitting quietly on his bunk with his back against the wall. 4:45, his uncle Gordon Lee comes in. 4:53, 3 pizzas and some Coke arrive. Okay. He says he takes the medication first. He continues to talk to his uncle. 5:15, they're both in good spirits. The warden at 5:50 asked Taylor if the pizza was good, and he said, "Very good, I'm full." Okay. His uncle leaves at 6:02. They say he's very calm. At 6:18, he reads his mail. Taylor does. His possessions are inventory.
Yeah.
All that sort of thing. 6:30, Taylor sits on the edge of the bed staring at the floor.
That's exactly what I think he would be doing about that time.
6:56, attorney Christine Rogers visits Taylor. 7:44. Taylor asks if he could, again, have some more antacid. He must be really having
He's really shitting.
Yeah, he's got problems. The warden says he'd get it for him. He gets more antacid. By 8:15 p.m., Chaplain Rodriguez and John Taylor are discussing the prayers and the afterlife, which he should be fucking worried about that if he's that religious. He should be super worried. 9:41 p.m., his mood appears positive. 9:56, he's talking to his attorneys. They say Taylor seems to be in good spirits and adamant to proceed. Let's get this fucking show on the road. 10:10, constant conversation sprinkled with frequent laughter. He seems relaxed and almost happy, they say.
Shit.
By 10:45, he is visiting his attorneys, and they're singing hymns now.
Oh boy.
With the priest. By 10:48, Father Rodriguez is reading scriptures. Taylor is now crying, sitting very still with his head bowed. I guess you are, asshole.
Yeah.
Now
8 o'clock seems so far away.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus, those 2 hours that have gone by.
He was having a good time. 11:35, the warden asks him if he wants to wear his glasses for the execution, and he says, quote, "There's no need for them," and gives the warden his glasses and a necklace with a cross on it. At 11:50, he's taken to the death area, which is a warehouse. Basically, they do a warehouse. They allow him to have his first cigarette since he was arrested.
Really?
They actually let him have a cigarette.
He's been sitting around for 20 years wishing he had it. Or
6
10,
years.
It's only been six.
This is 96. 6 years.
Holy shit,
he wants
that's
a cigarette.
fast.
They give him a cigarette. That's like old school firing squad, though. They fucking put a blindfold on and stick a cigarette in the guy's mouth. And, all right, there,
suck
asshole.
it down.
Yeah. Even if I didn't smoke, I'd want a cigarette if I was going to get killed. I'd be like, give me something. I don't give a shit. Jam heroin in my eyeball.
I don't care if this makes me sick.
There's usually like vigils and people outside with signs and shit like that. They had a vigil at St. Anne's Episcopal Church. You know how many people showed up? 5.
Wow.
5.
There's
usually hundreds.
Yeah.
5. If you do this shit, it's like, no, we don't really. That's fine.
These are just
we'll let this one go.
These are people that really hate the death penalty.
Yeah, even people who are adamantly against the death penalty. I guarantee you, a bunch of them were like, we're going to let this one go. We're not going to say anything about that. Well, the next one. Let's look at the guy who robbed the liquor store.
Who's next?
Who's next? This guy, fuck him. Yeah. What they do here at the at the warehouse there in the Utah prison, they outfit it with one-way mirrors, plywood partitions, and gun ports. And there's a wooden armchair that they make that they put him in and strap him down. It's a deep purple, the chair, deep midnight blue, to neutralize the color of blood. Okay. It's just kind of they call it an indistinguishable glistening hue, made of steel and mesh is what they say. Velcro strips secure him down at the ankles, wrists, arms, and body so he can't move. His last words are, I would just like to say for my family, for my friends, as the poem was written, remember me but let me go. That's his last words, which is, I hate when they try to be fucking deep about it. Fuck you.
Take it easy, goddamn Voltaire. You're not Nietzsche.
Christ.
Just fucking die.
They said he lifted his head for the warden to secure his neck to the chair, and they place a pan. They place his head over a pan to catch blood down below him. He puts a hood over his head. The warden does over Taylor's head. The shooters are arranged 17 feet away. Behind the gun ports there. They have bright lights.
17 feet. That is so close.
They have bright lights on him. Sandbags are all around him for both ricochet possibility and for blood soakage. The guy who runs the execution squad, I guess, goes down the aisle tapping each shooter on the shoulder. That's the get ready thing, and they tell them that they're ready at that point. It's 5 cops that do it. 5 police officers do this. It's a volunteer brigade to be execution squad. They each get paid $300, which I find really kind of weird and unsettling, and I don't like that.
That's gross.
Yeah, don't pay them anything.
They've got
You're
a
either
salary.
volunteering to get paid. You just got paid for a hit. That's what you just did. I get that it's on a piece of shit, and if you did it outside in the street and put a gun behind his head and blew his fucking brains out, I'd pat you on the back. But to get $300 from the state seems like a shit way to do it.
Only one of them has a bullet, right?
No, only one of them doesn't.
Oh, wow.
One blank. That's it. It's one blank.
Everybody else has a bullet.
Everybody else has a bullet. They have identical Winchester Model 94 rifles.
Okay.
They're selected at random on the table. And not like we're going to give Bob the blank. Like they don't do that. It's random. They hand it out. A second official loads the rifle and returns it. So it's very like, hey, nobody knows anything here. The one is secretly loaded with a wax bullet.
Okay.
That's how it works here. It's the blank. They even test these blanks to make sure that they have the real recoil and everything of a regular bullet, because they don't want these guys to
feel it,
to know,
feel the difference.
They fire as they all fire at once. It's not 5 shots. It's boom, one big shot that goes off. Basically, they do it at the exact same time. There's a white cloth over his heart. That's how they do it. It's like a target, basically, and they all shoot that. They said he relaxed and tilted back, and they shot him, and that was that.
It's over.
It's over with.
How many bullets that go at him?
4. They checked his neck for a pulse, and they cut 2 holes in the hood to check for light reflex to see if he's alive. He's declared dead at 12:07. And that's the 49th person since 1852 to be executed in Utah.
Awful.
There was 150 TV crews from around the world. People don't do barbaric shit like this in anywhere but Saudi Arabia and Syria and shit like that. Nobody does that.
Organized, civilized countries.
There are, I guarantee you, in Belgium, they do not march anybody into a thing and shine lights on them and people shoot them in the heart. It does not fucking happen. So, I mean, whatever. We're not even going to get into the whatever it is, but it's interesting that people around the world go, wow, they're going to shoot somebody? That's fucking creepy. They had a lot of reporters there, obviously, like I said. One of them here, Kevin Dale Stanfield, said, quote, "The image I have when I close my eyes is of his chest heaving upward after he was shot." So it's for normal people. You don't see anybody get shot. He, like I said, the first one since Gary Gilmore. It was the only person he had there was Gordon Lee, his uncle, and he said his quote was, quote, "I guess that answers that, don't it?" That was
answers what?
The question of whether he can die from a gunshot to the heart, I guess.
How was the pizza?
No shit, right? They cremate him. They ship him to his uncle Gordon there. It's weird too because the state has to have a death certificate, and they have to certify cause of death.
Yeah.
And it's homicide.
Really?
What else? It's not natural.
That's pretty
you
awesome.
Die of natural causes.
Yeah.
It meets the state's definition of intentional death by another hand.
Yeah.
However, state law exempts the actions of executioners from prosecution.
Gotcha.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Right after this, there's representatives introducing bills to eliminate the firing squad right away.
Yeah.
One of them here that ended up passing and succeeding, the representative here, Cheryl Allen, said, quote, if they choose the firing squad, it's one last magnificent manipulation of the system to bring attention to themselves.
Yeah.
It's time for Utah to do away with the firing squad.
They're not wrong.
Which is true. It's absolutely, that's exactly why he did it. That's
it's
why
violent as fuck, and it brings everybody's attention. But the other part is that it brings everybody's attention to what you did, fuckface.
True, but it also brings attention to you and gives you, and there's a lot of people that just want attention, and they're like, well, if I can die like that, 150
Everybody's
people from around the world,
yeah,
that's a problem, which that's been a problem forever. Now Sharon King, god damn it, this woman is amazing that she says this. Sharon King, obviously Charla's mother, she said she was alone in a Salt Lake City hotel room while the execution. She didn't want to see it. She said, quote, I felt something pass through my heart around midnight and felt he was dead. Part of me wanted him to die, and the other part of me felt bad for him. My heart goes out to his mom.
Wow.
What a fucking nice person.
She knows what it's like to lose a baby.
Yeah, but he said part of me, not even just his mom, part of me felt bad for him, she said. That's a person. That's a human fucking being, man.
So she has emotion. That's the difference between her and him, though. He didn't have it.
No, he's a remorseless everything.
And the only person he felt sorry for is him also.
Yeah, she feels remorse for this guy who killed her daughter.
Who's a remorseless pedophile.
Yeah, and even she feels remorse for this. Wow. Now, Charlotte King's uncle was also there, Elliot King. He said, quote, I was glad I got to see it. I thought he died very, very quickly. Then he said he didn't feel any sympathy for Taylor. He said, I think that he wasn't willing to make any restitution towards Charla by admitting guilt. I said, great. I feel that it's good he's gone. Sharon won't have to keep reliving this crime. Yeah. Which definitely here. Now that got rid of the firing squad, but there was one more person to get executed by firing squad because the case was from 1985.
Really?
So it was before the statute. So in June of 2008, Ronnie Lee Gardner was executed with the firing squad, and he became the last person to do that. He says about this, wow, this is Ronnie Lee Gardner's thing about, he said it was his right to die by firing squad, goddammit. He said, quote, I guess it's my Mormon heritage. I like the firing squad. It's so much easier and there's no mistakes.
Okay.
I don't know what that has to do with being Mormon.
There's no mistakes on any of them, really.
I read a lot into
You're
this.
Still going to die.
Yeah, that Brigham Young had a thing about the only way someone can be saved if they're a killer or whatever was to shed their blood. There was a weird thing about Mormonism, so I think that's part of it. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But I read a big thing about this. Jesus Christ, I only have a week. I can't find out every tenet of Mormonism in addition to murders and everything else.
That shit is complicated.
Yeah, but Gardner fought to stop the execution. When they couldn't stop the execution, he just was shot and executed. There's also Idaho and Oklahoma also allow the firing squad.
Awesome.
People are trying to ban it all over, but then some people in 2015, Utah legislators introduced bills to bring back the firing squad.
Really?
For some reason, I don't know why.
Jesus.
One guy, and this also creeped me out about it. The $300, and they talked to a guy who was on the firing squad.
No, don't do that.
Anonymity later on.
Yeah.
And he said, I don't like what he said. He said, quote, the death penalty is nothing more than sending a defective product back to the manufacturer.
Jesus.
I don't like that.
No.
He says, the quote, the appeals process is a little out of control. Get it done in a couple of years and move on. And then he said that they were talking about, what about ones of people who've been proved innocent and freed? He says he doubts there have been any innocent people executed since 1976. That's what he said. Meanwhile, with DNA, we've exonerated a million people.
100 times.
But he has to tell himself this to be able to do this shit. And he says it's harder to keep. He says with all the appeals now, which he just said they shouldn't have, that process minimizes the risk of innocent people being executed.
Right.
Not really.
But you want us to take that away.
But he also wants to take that away, and that's not even true to begin with. He said it's not a murder. The death penalty, he says, quote, it needs to be used more often.
Yeah.
And he says, quote, I haven't lost 3 seconds of sleep over it. It's true justice. Then they said, do you have any guilt at all? He said, quote, I've shot squirrels and felt worse about it.
Wow.
He said said he would definitely volunteer again if given the opportunity. He said, quote, there's just some people we need to kick off the planet. I don't want that guy on the firing squad.
That's a guy that has wanted to murder somebody so many times.
That's a guy I want to check his freezer. I don't want to fucking, I don't want him on firing squads.
He walked in a voting booth and voted for Donald Trump. So
he also said of the firing squad, quote, it was anticlimactic, another day at the office.
It wasn't enough for me.
You killed a human being.
I didn't come, is what he said.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't get to go up and really get him good.
I didn't get to spray my load on his face. That guy is a violent person.
Yeah, poor Charla, poor little Charla is buried at Brigham City Cemetery, Brigham City, Box Elder County, Utah.
Yeah.
So that is that. Like I said, that you don't get much rougher than that, and the what actually happened in there was the fucking worst thing I've ever heard.
It's terrible.
It was terrible. I don't know what to say about it.
But if you liked our story,
if you liked that story, I was going to say, I guess no, we pitched for iTunes reviews. Please get on iTunes. And give us 5 stars. While you're doing that, remember there was a disclaimer before this, so don't be pissed off at what we had to tell you about. I think we were pretty respectful as we could humanly be, because we both have daughters, and we're both human. Never mind having daughters.
Fuck,
we're both
having
human
daughters.
beings.
Yeah, it's just a person.
We don't want to see anything happen to that. So please give us 5 stars once you stop being depressed about this, and you can get back on your iTunes and do that. If you want to be an even bigger hero to us and one of our fine producers that we're going to talk about in a moment, please, you can do that by going to Patreon.com, patreon.com/crimeinsports.
Yes.
And you can make a donation there, or go to PayPal, and you can use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com.
Yes.
Now, before we get to our producers, I do have to make one little... we'll call this
air of grievance.
It's a call to action. Yeah. It's not even an air of grievance. It's a call to action. Okay? I would like to say, and I'm going to stand up for this shit too, because I feel like I need to be on stage for this shit. But okay, we this is what we need from you guys, because you guys have been amazing and you guys have given us everything.
Yeah.
Honestly, anything that we get out of this show in the future, anything that comes from this positive, is because you guys. It's all it really is. We would like to request for you to do us a favor, okay? Yeah. Go see good shows. And that includes our show, and that includes other shows, too.
Yeah.
If you see a podcast coming through or a comedian that you really like coming through, go buy tickets to that.
For sure.
Go buy tickets to things like this, because you know what we're going to do? Our show's going to be about an hour, 45 minutes, and it's going to be fucking jam-packed. Yeah. There's going to be laughs. It's going to be worth the money, is what we're talking about. Yeah. And the problem is, you guys out there, just regular people that go to a comedy club once in a while, I guarantee you, when you walk out, you don't feel like you got your money's worth, do you? You don't, do you? Right. Unless you went, and if you did, you went to a theater probably to go see Bill Burr or Jim Gaffigan or Louis C.K. or Amy Schumer or whoever you're into. Right. That's you go there. But a comedy club, you know what you did? You walked in because they gave you free tickets probably. Because.
That's very common.
because all the good comics do theaters, and their comedy clubs. I'll tell you a little secret. Comedy clubs are dying. Yeah. That shit is dying. That bubble's about to burst, and they've been pumping it up and ripping you guys the fuck off forever. And that's the goddamn truth. It's true. You know why you go in there, and you even with free tickets, you walk out with a $100 tab with 2 drink minimums and all that shit, and you don't feel like you got your fucking money's worth? You know why that is? Because those good comics are doing theaters, and there's B and C headliners that sometimes are good headliners and sometimes are good comics.
They're great comics.
Good guys, too. A lot of good girls, good ladies, good everything. But they can't fill a fucking room. Right. They can't fill a room.
And nobody knows who they are.
Nobody knows who they are, and they can't fill a room. And you know what? A lot of them are weak, too. That's the other thing. And so basically, bookers, the comedy bookers, they're the people that they want to have a big circle jerk with everybody, okay? When they talk to C headliner, shitty headliner that they're booking and ripping you off on, by the way, when they're talking to their manager and booking that guy, they're booking that manager in hopes that they're booking that comic in hopes that that manager's other client, who's a big comic who goes to the theater normally, maybe will come in for 3 days this year.
No doubt.
So you're going to get 10, 15 weekends a year of a shit comic that doesn't deserve to headline a fucking place because a booker wants to have a circle jerk with a manager. That's how it works. Because in this fucking business, Nobody can be truthful. Everybody's got to remain friends.
Right.
That's the bullshit. And in the end, guess what? You get to pay for that shit.
It's your wallet.
Your money paying for that bullshit pays for them to have lunches and slap each other on the fucking backs. How about let's kick them out of power? Let's get them the fuck out of the position to have any decision-making ability whatsoever.
You guys do it. You choose who you want to see.
Let them go to an industry that won't promote fucking up that industry.
Right.
They won't promote it because right now they're having you see a shit headliner who, by the way, you know how that first and second guy go up? Guess what I was told? That headliner doesn't want that second guy to be any good. He doesn't. He doesn't want pressure.
He wants him terrible.
He doesn't want to put on the best show for the audience, you guys who paid for that shit. He wants you to supplement his fucking ego.
Right.
That's what he wants. He wants you to pay all this money so he can bring his drinking buddy with him who has 10 decent minutes and has to fucking sell T-shirts with the last 4 minutes of his act because that's the only way he'll break
That's
even.
How he can pay for his travel to the show.
The only way he can pay for his travel, and it makes the headliner feel good enough in his ego that guy's not outshining him. So guess what? Nobody puts pressure on everybody. You guys get a shit lame show. You never go back to comedy clubs again.
Right.
Fuck that. Go to comedy clubs. See us.
Yeah.
Come see us. See people like us. Tell the clubs who you want. Tell theaters who you want. Tweet at them. Say, I want Crime and Sports. I want Small Town Murder to come to this place. Because you know what they'll do? They'll get a hold of us and they'll book us and we will be there.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Tell them, I don't want shit headliner A or shit headliner B. We don't want that shit just because your booker wants to have a circle jerk with somebody. Right. Because all of these fucking bookers, they feel like they're in charge. They feel like they can steal your money and they feel like they can control people like us and control our careers and control everything, control the content that goes out.
And that's why people make podcasts so that they can control their own fucking destiny and they don't have to deal with that.
When you're told don't go out and try to crush before somebody because it will make them feel bad, the industry's over, man.
It's done.
The fucking bubble has burst. The bubble has burst. And I'll tell you another thing, bookers, if there are any of you cocksucking fucking gutless shitbags listening right now, guess what? When you're in there with all of us, the host, the feature, and the headliner, and you're acting like you and the feature are good buddies because you saw him at a festival one time or some horse shit, and you and the manager are all fake buddies. Yeah. By the way, guess what? When you get fired, they'll slap that next booker on the back and forget you fucking existed while you manage a TGI Fridays, you son of a bitch bastard. But you know what they say as soon as you walk out of the room and everybody's, you treat us like shit and you're all nice to the headliner? They turn to us, the comics, and they say, don't trust that fucking guy as far as you can throw him. He's a scumbag. That's what they say.
Every one of them.
And you know what? They've known us for 30 seconds. They don't know if we're funny. They don't know a goddamn thing. But they know one thing. You don't, as Ric Flair has said for years, you don't walk that aisle. You don't have to go fucking prove yourself. You don't have to do shit. You get to sit on your fat ass and write fucking names and dates on a calendar, which guess what? It takes no talent to do that.
None.
And the world is discovering that. Yeah. And you're not going to have a fucking job soon. So enjoy doing that because these people are going to take this shit back over and get the shit they want to, and they're not going to be ripped off. They're not. And I'm not saying this about it. Whatever your brand name club is, people don't care about that anymore. People under 40 years old don't give a shit. They would go to see us in a fucking parking lot in the worst neighborhood in town because that's what they want to see. Why do you think food trucks are popping up? You're eating food while smelling diesel fuel, but it's the food you want for the money you want to fucking pay. So you're not going to be ripped off by Olive Garden anymore. That's all it is right there. So please, what I'm saying is take this shit back. Yeah. Just take it back. Tell them what you want and what you don't want. Right. Tell them you don't want it. Say, we don't need Bruce to come through this year. We don't. We're done. Emo Phillips, he was here last year. We're good. We're good. Tell them that shit. Don't and tell them what you do want, like people like us. Thank you guys for listening. I'm going to splice this into both shows because I frankly don't have the breath to do it again for Crime and Sports. So with that said, I would like to give the floor over to Jimmy to tell us about these amazing producers who have done exactly what we're asking to do, have ponied up. They've ponied up money. They've ponied up time. And they're the future of this. If there's going to be a future of anything funny that goes and people can go see that's fun, these are the people who are going to provide it for us.
It's people like Bradley Harker and Dana Grayson, big homie Dana. Thanks for listening, brother.
Grayson.
Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Ingrid Stokey or Stocky or Stock. It's Stokke, and she's the one actually that sent the NOK money, the North Korea money.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Thank you, Ingrid.
We loved being able to convert that.
Unbelievable.
Like, hey, cool.
Grant Johns, Allison Barnett, Amy Helfer. EWA, is that EWA or EWA? No, don't even try. It's Iwa Tarowska.
It kind of sounds good together, though. It's like a cool name when you put the first and last together.
It's very Slavic and kick-ass, I think.
I like that. It's cool.
Jose Oliveras and Paulo Oliveira. I think that's it. Oliveira. I don't know. It's Paulo. That's the first name. I dig that.
Okay, yeah, I'll take it.
Jim
Thank
Frank,
you.
Carrie Murray, Cat Power in New York. She sent some dough again. Thanks,
Thank you,
Cat.
Cat.
She's got herself a job and she's killing it.
Oh,
or killing people. She's in an emergency room. I don't know what she's doing.
Cat.
Ashley Stevens,
Let 'em know who you are.
Omar Quintana, Jessica Landron, and Chrissy Ann Cristaldi. Again,
God damn it, guys.
The two of you are fucking incredible. Thank you.
You really are.
Gail Nave, Brittany McDonald, Candace Horner, Sarah Bessler, Christopher Azcaraga. Almost sounds like ass kicker. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Laura Fuck. God damn it.
Is it an Italian one, Jimmy? You want me to take it?
Pettinari. That's it.
Pettinari?
Yeah. Laura Pettinari.
All right. That's not bad.
Meg Dainty, Aaron Tanner, Hugh Wilson, Caitlin Maroney, Anthony Marquez, Allison Heimer. Yeah. Timothy Jenkins, Ben Larson, Mary Grace. Holy, what the shit is your last name? Mary Grace Skrivanich. That's it. Skrivanich. Mary Grace Skrivanich.
Thank you. Again, it sounds, I think you nailed it. I think you're all right here.
William McClellan.
Probably didn't at all.
Bill
McClellan.
Yeah, Bill McClellan, Scotland.
Yeah.
Dalton Henson, Josh Zach, James Karsh, Josh Rober, Matt Joy, Larissa Kemp, Sharifa Hay, Rob Clark, Joshua Field, Senga Robertson, Laura Blakesley. There's so many L's. That's ridiculous. Blakesley. That's it. It's just Blakesley. Kelsey Herbert, or Hebert. Sorry, Kelsey. Kelsey Hebert. Kelly Moore, Mary Hemphill. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's like Shirley.
Cool. Yeah. Sarisha Williams, Kelly Schulte. It's just Schulte.
Okay.
Jesus.
Fair enough.
Giselle Dodada, Kaylee. Are you shitting me, Kaylee?
Come on, Kaylee.
Kaylee Murikes.
Wow.
It's ruined.
That's
Sorry,
fine.
Kaylee.
She knows who she is, goddammit.
Jacob Adams is a huge Batman fan, and he liked that we mentioned Batman, so he sent us some dough.
I saw that. That's awesome.
Jacob.
Thank you. Cool. We
Mariama,
mentioned it again today. We mentioned Dark Knight today, so there you go.
Mariama Evans, Pamela Sloan, she upped her donation. Thank you, Pamela. Whitney Booza, Shane and Crystal Davis. Shane and Crystal, they're truck drivers. They're a tandem truck driver,
cool.
husband and wife, and they.
That's so cool.
He gets rest now because she listens to the show. So thank
Fucking
you guys
badass.
for listening.
Right on.
Sherry Neese, Bennett Williams, Captain Surly, Nancy Leeds, Charlotte. Fucking hell! I thought I was going to get through this. Charlotte Karuba. It's Karuba. It's got to be. Jeff Maynor, Jennifer Creed, Delinda. God damn it, Delinda Andrews Lewinge. No.
Ooh.
I'm ruining it. I'm so sorry.
Luigi?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't think any of those are right.
And Matt Jelinek. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys
so
God
much.
damn it. Thank you
for
guys.
giving a shit. Thank you for supporting this and continue to do so.
Thank you guys. Really. You support us and you keep us going. You keep us afloat. And thank you for listening to my insanity.
It was awesome.
Please, by the way, anybody out there listening, don't penalize Jimmy for that. If somebody is going to fucking say I'm not booking these guys anymore,
listen,
guess
I
what?
agree with you 100%. I'm on your side.
And
That's
guess
why
what?
we do this together.
And you know what?
We ride or die together.
That's right, brother. You know it, man. We fucking do. That's a fact.
Yeah.
And you people, all of our listeners, all you great people out there, you're the people who have allowed us to be able to do this and not have to kiss people's asses.
Right.
Because if you have the goods, which is an army of people behind you, which is people that are coming to see you.
Right.
If you have that,
that's the ones.
It doesn't matter what any of these people fucking think.
You can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want. You can do the shows you want for your audience and have a good time doing it.
That's right.
So that's the key there. So you guys are making this happen. Thank you guys so much. What if one of these amazing people wanted to get a hold of a guy like Jimmy Whisman?
You can
How would
find
they do
me
that?
at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
And I am at Jimmy P is funny, or you can try and copy and paste my last name. Don't spell it. It's going to just mess you up. There's an I in there where you don't expect it. So don't do that. Guys, keep doing that stuff. iTunes, get on that. Do everything. Listen to Crime and Sports also. Guys, it's been a blast. We've had fun. Until next week, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.